Chapter 2361 Emergency Meeting 1. However, after looking forward to the stars and the moon, the day of the official ceremony had finally arrived. Shui Ran and Shui Qiao couldn't hide the excitement in their hearts. They had been looking forward to this day for a long time. In their hearts, they truly felt that as long as May officially ascended to the throne as the Snow Fox King, they would definitely feel a sense of responsibility towards the Snow Fox tribe. This was because, through their interactions with May over the past few days, they knew very well that May was a very kind and responsible little fellow. Therefore, it could be said that they were extremely satisfied with May. Unfortunately, they were happy too early. The May was very kind, but it depended on who she was dealing with. Towards her master, May would definitely listen to everything and be extremely obedient. However, to outsiders, that might not be the case. The current Snow Fox tribe was definitely not considered Mice wife. Hence, the mice kindness was completely out of respect for Shuang. Or rather, it was an act. As for the sense of responsibility, it was the same. However, the overjoyed Shui Ran and Shui Qiao were not aware of this. Thus, the two of them were still sitting on the throne, dreaming of creating a glorious future for the Snow Fox tribe. A moment before the ceremony began, Shui Mu had already sent people to invite Lung Ruoxue and the rest to the VIP seats. May had also been taken away by him to make preparations. Sitting in the VIP area, Jiang Ning looked around with a curious expression on his face. Hee, to think that I would actually have the opportunity to participate in the Snow Fox clan's inauguration ceremony. This is truly unbelievable. Jiang Ning couldn't help but say proudly after looking around. Hearing this, Lung Ruoxue couldn't help but raise her brows and ask, "What? You're the Dignified Alchemist Guild's Vice Guild leader. Isn't it easy for you to participate in the Beast Clan succession ceremony?" Of course it won't be easy. Although I'm an alchemist and have a good relationship with the magical beasts, they want to invite humans to participate in such grand events. So, no matter how high my position is in their hearts, I don't have the chance. Jiang Ning said gloomily. It was all thanks to this little girl that he was able to participate in the Snow Fox tribe succession ceremony today. According to what you're saying, we're not human, Lung Ruoxue said on purpose. Shui, you're definitely looking for trouble, okay? How can you be the same as us? Your beastie is the future king of the Snow Fox tribe. If these Snow Foxes dare to not invite you to participate, the demon will definitely go on strike. Therefore, they will definitely not dare to neglect you. Jiang Ning said. That sounds reasonable. Lung Ruoxue smiled. It's more than reasonable. Shui, Big Brother will be following you in the future, so you can't abandon me, Jiang Ning said with a fawning expression. What? Hearing this, the demon frowned unhappily and glanced at Jiang Ning with a faint smile. The expression on his face was also very unfriendly. He was very sensitive to the word abandon. Don't misunderstand. What I mean is, Shui will be my boss from now on. Seeing this, Jiang Ning quickly explained. The demon nodded in satisfaction. However, cold sweat was dripping from Jiang Ning's body. Whoa, this is too much. She actually threatened him. Although the evil man did not say a word, his little heart could not stop trembling. There was too much pressure in her heart, wasn't there? Thanks, just as Jiang Ning was trembling in fear and being extremely careful, the inauguration ceremony finally began. This was also the first time Lung Ruoxue and the others had attended such a ceremony. Furthermore, if they had not come to the immortal realm, they would not have known that the beast race would be so serious about the succession of the throne. Not only did they organize a ceremony, but they even had a master of ceremony. The Snow Fox tribe elder who was hosting the succession ceremony was the Snow Fox tribe's grand elder. The Snow Fox tribe's great elder walked up to the stage that had been set up in advance with a face full of joy. He first said a bunch of symbolic and encouraging words before announcing the official start of the ceremony. Then, the music started playing. With the music playing, May walked up the stage. The May had returned to her original form. He had a tall body, snow-white fur, a pair of soul-shaking purple eyes, and a purple gold crown on his head. He looked extraordinary and heroic. However, at this moment, the expression on its face was extremely serious. However, the snow foxes of the snow fox tribe went completely crazy when they saw its majestic image. All the snow foxes shouted, howled, cheered, and jumped for joy. They were all extremely excited. Some of the more emotional snow foxes had tears in their eyes at this moment. King, the great king, I love you. King, you're my idol. He's so handsome. The wild and passionate voices of the snow foxes rose and fell. However, the May did not feel excited at all when she heard these voices. Yes, it was very unhappy, very unhappy. It had always kept a low profile with its master. It was not used to such an occasion where it was in the limelight, and it did not like such an occasion. It originally thought that it would just follow the rehearsed ceremony. Who knew that the snow foxes of the snow fox tribe would be crazy to this extent? However, these were all trivial matters. What was most dissatisfied with was its current image. Although it still had the body of a fox, it did not look like a mimicry. Not only that, there was a heavy iron shelf on its head, and a yellow silk ribbon was tied to its body. Shui ran, and Shui Qiao told it that the iron shelf was the crown of the snow fox king, but it looked like a stove used by its master for barbecue. And the silk belt. The two old foxes also said that it was to show off the unique, noble status of the snow fox king. But no matter how it looked at it, it was like a promotion, lady. No, a promotion, little fox. You bastard. May really wanted to curse. His outfit was really too ugly. However, it couldn't not wear it like this, because as long as it showed that it didn't want to wear it, the two old foxes would stare at it with tears in their eyes, making it look like it had done something wrong. Later, after the two old foxes had laid down countless unfair conditions, the May finally compromised. After reluctantly standing on the stage, May only hoped that the inauguration ceremony would be completed as soon as possible. However, after unintentionally feeling her master's gaze, Mei Zhen wanted to find a hole to hide in. Looking at Mei, who had suddenly lowered her head shyly, Jiang Ning asked in confusion, Shui, what are you being shy about? Could it be that you're frightened by this big scene? Of course not. It's thinking that it's dressing too unsightly. Lung Ruoxua laughed. As the master, how could she not know what her own beastly beast was thinking? However, she had not expected the Snow Fox tribe to make such a big fuss for the inauguration ceremony. Wasn't this a little too much? Glancing at the countless fanatical snow foxes, Lung Ruoxua could not help but break out in cold sweat. She could not help but think to herself, Charm seems to have gained quite a few fans. Under such circumstances, if she wanted to take May away, would she encounter any difficulties? Chapter 2362 Emergency Meeting 2. Lung Ruoxua had already predicted that it would be impossible for her to take May away so easily. However, with May around, those old foxes would not dare to go against her. She was also very confident in May, so she was not worried that those old foxes would play any tricks on her. She was just not sure what kind of excuse they would use to keep May. She was looking forward to that. At this moment, the May who was on the high platform had already started the succession process in an orderly manner. Lung Ruoxua's attention was also attracted to the high platform. Looking at the tall and snow-white mice powerful aura that could swallow mountains and rivers, Lung Ruoxua couldn't help but feel a little cocky. As expected of her beastie, it was so stylish. Even though the entire process of the ceremony was complicated, the ceremony of ascension to the throne was very simple. The May only knelt 3 times towards the sky before the Snow Fox tribe's great elder announced her as the Snow Fox tribe's king. After that, the Snow Fox tribe's great elder's voice was drowned out by the cheers of the Snow Foxes. Next, the Snow Fox great elder patiently waited for the tribesman to calm down because he was also feeling unusually excited. Although the Snow Fox tribe did not only have one purple-eyed snow fox since ancient times, the purple-eyed snow fox's succession this time was personally managed and hosted by it. To it, the significance was different. Therefore, its excitement was much greater than the other snow foxes. After a while, as they knew that the ceremony had to continue, the The snow foxes only cheered for a while before they quieted down again. Then, the great elder of the snow fox tribe announced that the snow fox king would give a speech to the tribe. When Immerse heard this, she was momentarily dumbfounded. A lecture? What's with the scolding? No fox had told it about this, so it didn't know that it had to speak. It didn't rehearse the ceremony either. At this moment, the Immerse received a look from the snow fox great elder. Seeing that the old man seemed to be asking it to say a few words, it could only helplessly open its mouth and say that, just as it said 2 words, the Immerse stopped again. It did not know what to call these snow foxes. Call them clansmen? It seemed that it couldn't open its mouth because in its eyes, these snow foxes were at most of the same race. Hello, I'm very happy to be the king of snow foxes. Under the leadership of my master, our snow fox tribe will definitely be able to regain our former glory. Please believe me. After hesitating for a moment, the Immerse decided not to say anything and just speak directly. However, the moment it finished speaking, the snow fox great elder on the stage and the snow foxes below the stage were all stunned. Did it say something wrong? Why did the snow foxes in front of him turn into stone? Mei Xiang didn't understand. The snow fox great elder, who had finally regained her senses, looked at the Immerse with a helpless and troubled expression. She thought to herself, "My king, who asked you to say this? You even said that the snow fox tribe will return to its former glory under the leadership of your master. Is this what they want to hear?" They didn't want to be led by humans. More importantly, not all of the snow fox tribe members knew that their new king was taken. Therefore, the snow fox great elder did not dare to imagine how the snow foxes would react after this secret was exposed. As expected, as the snow foxes regained their senses one by one, the audience immediately burst into an uproar. The king has a master? Heavens, this is too scary. How can a king have a master? Thanks, the snow foxes were in a heated discussion. Although their voices were not loud, there were too many of them. Hence, their voices were heard by Lung Ruoxue and the others. The Immerse naturally heard it clearly as well. However, it did not care about this, because it did not think that having a master was something to be ashamed of. On the contrary, it was very proud. However, the expression of the great elder snow fox, who was the MC of the ceremony, was rather unsightly. Its originally snow-white fur was already faintly showing signs of black. It was only when it received Shui Ran's voice transmission, asking it to continue with the ceremony, that its expression became slightly better. Because of this small accident, the rest of the process of the snow fox tribe's great elder was carried out very quickly. It could almost be considered a formality. Even the ceremony of paying respects to the fallen hero of the snow fox tribe was carried out very quickly. This also caused the succession ceremony, which should have taken an hour and a half, to be completed in less than an hour. Although the snow fox first elder felt a little regretful, it was more afraid that there would be any more mistakes. After consoling itself that it was all for the king's sake, it was slightly relieved. The Immerse was quite satisfied with such an outcome. After the simplified ceremony was completed, it was time for the celebration party held by the snow fox tribe. Initially, Lung Ruoxue and the rest only wanted to show their faces for a bit before leaving. However, when she saw the mice's resentful expression, she relented and stayed. It wasn't easy for her to endure until the Immerse could leave. Lung Ruoxue immediately led everyone away and returned to her own residence. Only then did she relax. The snow foxes had been eyeing her covetously ever since they heard what the Immerse had said. She could even feel a few unfriendly gazes from them, so she really did not want to stay with them any longer. Not long after they returned to their residence, the Immerse had caught up with them. When the Immerse saw Lung Ruoxue and the rest, she still put on a resentful expression. When Lung Ruoxue saw this, she could not help but feel a headache coming on. "Immerse, what's wrong with you? We've been with you the entire time at the banquet. I want to live with you," the Immerse said pitifully. "Didn't Senior Shui Ran agree to let you stay in the palace for 3 days?" Lung Ruoxue held her forehead and said, after Immerse became the Snow Fox tribe's king, she had her own palace. Although the palace was still shabby compared to their residence, it was still the symbol of the Snow Fox tribe's king. If she had not stayed there for even a day, it would not be right. Hence, when Ran discussed it with her, she had agreed. After all, this was not an unreasonable request. However, she did not expect that May, who had promised her well, would come back right after the inauguration ceremony. I've been there, but it's so cold and cheerless. I can't stay there for a day. The May grumbled with tears in her eyes. Then, she pounced into Lung Ruoxu's arms and even put on a look as if she had been abandoned. She was really as pitiful as she could be. Then what do we do? Lung Ruoxu was helpless. I want to stay by Master's side. The May lifted her head and looked at Lung Ruoxu with her beautiful purple eyes. No. Before Lung Ruoxu could say anything, a voice rejected her flatly. The person who spoke was Shui and I, who had come to look for May. When Shui Ran and Shui Qiao saw their queen acting like a little pet in Lung Ruoxu's arms, they felt a headache coming on. If their queen's appearance was seen by her clansmen, it would damage her tall and imposing image. Can't. The May narrowed her eyes upon hearing this. King, don't be willful, be good. Didn't we agree that you will stay in your own palace for 3 days? 3 days later, if you want to live with this girl, you can move back. Shui Ran could tell that May was displeased and quickly coaxed her. She then kept winking at Lung Ruoxu, hoping that she would help to persuade her. This little fellow only listened to her. Chapter 2363 Emergency Meeting 3. However, Lung Ruoxu acted as if she didn't see its eye signal and looked up at the sky. It wasn't that she didn't want to help, but she had already helped. But May had agreed and then gone back on her word. What would she do? She couldn't possibly help others to bully her beastie. She had never been someone who would side with an outsider. I don't want to stay there for even a day. The May looked at Lung Ruoxu and said with certainty, Why? Did someone offend the king? Tell me. They'll punish it on behalf of the king. Shui Ran guessed. No, I didn't tea. I just don't want to leave, Master. Meijin said honestly. But didn't we agree that you would stay in your own palace for at least 3 days? 3 days later, you'll be able to live with this girl. Shui Ran reminded. It was very worried by the words of the demon. However, they could not do anything to the demon, who asked this treasure to be the purple-eyed snow fox that the snow fox tribe had obtained after much difficulty. How rare. I said I don't want to live there for even a day. I can't wait another day. If you really want me to live there, then I won't be the king of snow foxes. The May said lightly. It was going on strike again. Hearing this, Shui Ran and Shui Qiao both burst into tears. Woo, bad boy. Little brat. That detestable brat. They'd already made so many unfair agreements, so why did he still have to bully them? The 2 big white foxes had tears streaming down their faces. They had nowhere to complain to, and their fragile glass hearts had also shattered into pieces. However, the May would not sympathize with them. The main reason was that it did not take the Snow Fox King too seriously. Naturally, it did not want to do something that it was not willing to do for a throne that it did not care much about. Furthermore, the Snow Fox tribe in the Divine Realm had too many things to do and many rules. They were not as carefree as the tribe it used to have. One had to know that in the Snow Fox tribe that it belonged to, when the tribesmen became adults, they would leave the tribe and wander alone. Therefore, many of the tribesmen might not have even seen each other, but once they met a fellow tribesman, they would feel very close. However, in the Snow Fox tribe of the Divine Realm, the tribesmen basically lived together and were managed by the Snow Fox King. As a result, there were naturally many disputes between the tribesmen. Before he agreed to take over the Snow Fox tribe, he did not know that the Snow Fox tribe was in such a situation. This made him, who had originally planned to be a hands-off manager, regret it. Moreover, the elders of the Snow Fox tribe had to ask it for instructions on everything, which was unbelievable to it. Sometimes, when an elder came to ask it for instructions over some trivial matter, it would want to shout back, "You are all dead." However, its good upbringing allowed it to hold back, but this did not mean that it was not angry. It was precisely because it had the thought of regret that it did not want to be so obedient and let these snow foxes manipulate it. It wanted to be itself. After the May finished speaking, it did not make another sound. Instead, It laid comfortably in Lung Ruoxu's arms and enjoyed its master's caress. It was very clear that no matter how much it had done to the Snow Fox tribe, its master would not blame it. After Mei finished speaking for a long time, the sorrowful Xuan Mu and Xue Qiao could not come back to their senses. When they finally came back to their senses, they saw Mei sleeping in Lung Ruoxu's arms. The two white foxes burst into tears again. After that, they said helplessly, "Little girl, since the king has fallen asleep, then let him stay here with you." He had no choice but to stay here. He threatened them with the Snow Fox King at the drop of a hat. How despicable! They were filled with hatred. With that, the two lonely and tall figures left Lung Ruoxu's residence like leaves in the autumn wind. "They're so pitiful." Watching the two snow foxes' desolated backs, Jiang Ning said with a face full of sympathy. He, Lung Ruoxue was speechless. What was so pitiful about those two foxes? They didn't do anything to them anyway. Following that, she stretched out her fair, jade-like hand and gently stroked my soft fur. She said softly, "All right, they've already left. Stop pretending to be asleep." Master. May opened her eyes. A hint of shyness flashed across her face. "Thanks, speak. Why did you go back on your word?" Lung Ruoxue asked indifferently. "Master, I don't want to be the Snow Fox King anymore. The Snow Fox tribe has too many things to do, and they have to ask me for help for every trivial matter. My goal is to be a hands-off shopkeeper, not to lose my freedom for the Snow Fox tribe." May said with a bitter face. "May, actually, the magical beasts and humans in the divine realm are all like this. A magical beast is equivalent to a large family clan. If all the clansmen live together, there will definitely be more things to do, and the responsibility of a king will also be heavier. However, I feel that no matter what kind of rules the Snow Fox clan has, you will be the Snow Fox King in the future. If you're not satisfied with their rules, you could just change them." Hearing Mai's words, Lung Ruoxue said with a smile, "Furthermore, you have already promised Shuang that you will be the Snow Fox King. You can't be so willful as to say that you don't want to be the Snow Fox King. I also hope that you can become the Snow Fox King. Otherwise, I can only use my own methods to subdue the Snow Fox tribe." Following that, Lung Ruoxue added that if the succubus had not become the Snow Fox King, the Snow Fox tribe would have ended up like the Snow Rat, Snow Leopard, and the other beast tribes. All of them would have been hers. Furthermore, on account of Shuang, she did not want to take in the Snow Fox tribe by force. The best way was for Mei to become the Snow Fox King. She believed that this was something that Xue Ying would be happy to see. Therefore, until now, she was still considered friendly to the Snow Fox tribe. Yes. If you don't like any of the rules of the Snow Fox tribe, you can change them all. You can't not be the Snow Fox King. Jiang Ning also advised. "All right, then from tomorrow onwards, I will carry out a great reform. If any elder dares to object, I will no longer be the Snow Fox King." After thinking for a while, Mei smiled evilly. Hearing this, Lung Ruoxue nodded her head in satisfaction. As long as the demon did not use the Snow Fox King to threaten the elders, she believed that the elders would not dare to object. "Oh, aren't they being a little too mean by doing this?" Lung Ruoxue thought to herself. When Jiang Ning heard the mice words, he felt a deep sense of sympathy for the Snow Fox tribe's elders. With such a willful king who didn't take the throne seriously, the elders would probably have a headache, right? Lung Ruoxue had finally appeased the Mei, but Xue Ran and Xue Qiao were still having a headache. After they resentfully left Lung Ruoxu's residence, they did not return to their own residence. Instead, they hurriedly called for a meeting of elders to discuss countermeasures. Otherwise, that little fellow would keep threatening them with the excuse of not being the king. Who would be able to stand it? The Snow Fox elders who had rushed over after hearing the news sat down in the meeting hall. When they saw that there were only the two great ancestors and that their king was not present, they could not help but look at each other. Ugh, what was going on? He was actually carrying the king? Although it wasn't said that the king had to attend all the elder meetings, it was the first day that the king had officially ascended the throne. It wasn't very good to throw the king aside and have a meeting in secret, right? With this thought in mind, All the elders looked at the Snow Fox Tribe's great elder in unison. The Snow Fox Tribe's great elder had no choice but to bite the bullet and ask, "Old ancestor, has the king not arrived yet?" "I didn't inform the king." Shuiran raised her eyes and said indifferently. The Snow Fox great elder was worried. What did it mean that the king was not informed? "I summoned you for a meeting mainly to discuss the king's matter. It's not suitable for the king to attend." Shuiran explained. "Oh." The Snow Fox elders nodded their heads in unison. They did not dare to speak at all, because even a fool could tell that their old ancestor was in a very bad mood. The king refused to live in his own palace and insisted on living with that human girl. I didn't agree, so he threatened me that I wouldn't be the king. Do you have any good ideas to convince the king, or to make the king feel a sense of belonging to the Snow Fox tribe? Tell me." Shuiran asked after a heavy sigh. "What? No longer a king? How can we do that?" Upon hearing this, the Snow Fox great elder was the first to panic. Previously, during the inauguration ceremony, the king's words had almost thrown the clansmen into confusion. At the same time, it had also exposed the fact that the king had a master, causing them to be unable to hide it even if they wanted to. After that, it finally sent people to appease the clansmen, and those fellows did not cause any trouble for it. Moreover, because their expectations of the king were too high, this fact had also dealt a heavy blow to many of the clansmen. However, since things had already come to this, they could only accept it. At least for now, this was the only way. Who asked Lung Ruoxue to know their queen first? The king's feelings for that human were not ordinary deep. Therefore, it was not easy to separate them. The Snow Fox First Elder was very clear that they could only ignore the relationship between their king and Lung Ruoxue. If they were too concerned, it would only force their king further away from them. At this moment, even if their Snow Fox clan wanted to compete with Lung Ruoxue for favor, they would definitely not be able to do so. After thinking about it, it carefully said, "Old ancestor, it's normal for the king and Lung Ruoxue to have a deep relationship. After all, they've been together for so long. I feel that we should understand the king on this matter and not force him to do what we want. Otherwise, it might backfire." "You're saying that we should follow the king's lead?" Shuiran asked. "Yes, the king can do whatever he wants. We can't stop him, and we can't," the Snow Fox First Elder said with absolute certainty. Chapter 2364 New Rules vs. Honey Trap 1. Although Shuiran and Xueqiao were a little reluctant after hearing the Great Elder's words, they knew that the Great Elder was right. They really had to go along with that little fellow. Otherwise, if that little fellow were to shirk his responsibilities, the Snow Fox tribe would be the one suffering. Thinking of this, Shuiran said helplessly, "Then let's do as the Great Elder says. You have to remember that the king can do whatever he wants. Also, don't offend the human girl. Otherwise, whoever dares to make the king say that he doesn't want to be the king of our Snow Fox tribe will be a sinner of our Snow Fox tribe." Its words were definitely a warning. It was afraid that some of the Snow Foxes would not know how important Lung Ruoxue was in the king's heart. Therefore, if they offended them, the king would definitely fly into a rage. After hearing Shuiran's words, the Snow Fox elders all felt sorry for her and quickly nodded. Seeing this, Shuiran was very satisfied. Then, she ordered, "That's right. Remember to inform the fox race of the divine realm that our Snow Fox race has a new king. Old ancestor, if the other fox kings want to come and pay their respects to our king, should we let them come?" The Snow Fox Grand Elder could not help but ask. Originally, the ascension ceremony of the Snow Fox King should have been informed to the other fox tribes. However, some of the fox tribes' kings were very close to the previous Snow Fox King. They were afraid of causing trouble, so they did not inform the fox tribe in advance. Now that the king had inherited the throne of the Snow Fox tribe and paid respects to the ancestors, it was a matter of course. Even if some foxes wanted to disrupt it, it would be of no use. Therefore, according to the rules, they should allow other fox kings to meet their new king. However, the situation with the new king was a little different. The new king would say that he did not want to be the king anymore. If the king met with the other fox kings, and someone insensibly angered the king, it was really afraid that things would go out of control. Let whoever wants to come. We'll meet sooner or later. After thinking for a while, Shui Ran said, "Yes." The snow fox great elder nodded. Then, it got up and left to make preparations. After the great elder of the snow fox tribe left, Shui Ran did not dismiss the meeting. Instead, she asked the elders present to continue thinking about how to increase the king's sense of belonging to the tribe. This was because Shui Ran was very clear that using the responsibility of the snow fox tribe as an excuse would not work on that little fellow. That little fellow would not care about the responsibility of the snow fox tribe. This was also a matter that gave it a headache. When the elder heard this, his mind whirred. Then he smiled and said, "Ancestor, I have a good idea. I wonder if it will work." "What good idea?" "Why don't you tell me?" Shuemu immediately ordered. "That the king is the only purple-eyed snow fox in the snow fox tribe for hundreds of thousands of years. He has a high status, but the king is still single. What I mean is, do you want to find a companion for the king?" An elder asked. "Find a companion? You mean, find a female fox?" Shui Ran asked with uncertainty. "That's right. I believe that as long as the king gets married and has children, his feelings for our snow fox tribe will naturally deepen. Furthermore, with the ties of a wife and children, would old ancestor be afraid that the king would not be completely loyal to our snow fox tribe? At that time, who can compare to the position of family in the king's heart?" An elder said confidently, "Will this work?" Shui Ran was worried. She knew that in my size, there was no one else but her master. More importantly, she did not think that this was a good idea. "Thanks, it'll definitely work. Old ancestor, the king is also a male beast. As long as it was a male beast, which one could escape the trap of a beauty. Besides, we're all doing this for the king's good. The king has been an adult for a long time, and it's time for him to have offspring." A certain elder said with the doing this for the king expression. "Is there any female beast in the tribe that is worthy of the king?" Shui Ran asked with a frown. Although she didn't like the elder's tone, she couldn't deny that the best way to deal with a male beast was indeed a female beast. Since ancient times, the seduction technique had been extremely good for both men and male beasts. There are many beautiful foxes in our snow fox tribe, and many of the female beasts of the right age have yet to marry, so they are the most suitable for the king. The elder promised, thinking that his daughter was very suitable. "Since that's the case, I'll leave this matter to you. Remember, you must do it beautifully and don't embarrass our snow fox tribe." Shui Ran warned. In fact, it wasn't very optimistic about this method, but there was no harm in trying. If it really worked, it would be able to solve one of its worries. "I promise to complete the task. I'll inform all the families tomorrow and ask them to report the names of the unmarried female foxes of the right age and carefully select a partner that the king is most satisfied with." The snow fox elder, who had received the mission, was extremely excited. This was great. He could be in a favorable position. That's all for now. Today's meeting will end here. If you have any good ideas, let me know at any time. Seeing that it was getting late, Shui Ran decided to end the meeting. When the snow fox elders present heard this, they immediately stood up and took their leave. After they left, Shui Qiao glanced at Shui Ran and could not help but ask, "Do you really think that the honey trap would work on that little guy?" "I don't know." Shui Ran was only treating a dead fox as a living fox doctor, and she didn't know if it would work or not. The king should indeed have a partner by his side. Shui Ran added after some thought, "I hope that little guy is lecherous." Snowbridge said helplessly. He truly felt that today's meeting was a waste of time. Other than the great elder's useful words, everything else was just nonsense. It was not optimistic about the beauty trap at all. At this moment, the May was still unaware that she was about to be sugar-coated by the snow fox tribe. She was completely immersed in the reform of the snow fox tribe, and the snow fox tribe's plan to select a beauty for her was also quietly unfolding. For the next few days, the May buried herself in studying the snow fox tribe's rules and what she should do as the snow fox king. Shuemei and Xueqiao were extremely satisfied with her performance. They truly thought that the Mei was working hard for the future of the Snow Fox tribe, and had no idea that she was bent on reforming the Snow Fox tribe. If they knew, they would definitely be depressed. Seeing that the demon was working so hard that it forgot to eat or sleep, Xuemu and Xueqiao were very considerate and didn't disturb it. They even told it gently that if it had any questions, it could ask them at any time. Mei nodded and continued to study the clan rules. Xuemu and Xueqiao left with a satisfied look on their faces. At Lung Ruoxu's residence. In the living room, Lung Ruoxue, the demon, Uncle Long, and Jiang Ning were all staring at the Mei who was busy working on the table. No one spoke to disturb its thoughts. When a Mei encountered something she was unsure of, she would ask for their opinions. Chapter 2365 New Rules vs. Honey Trap 2. However, when Jiang Ning saw that the Mei general had changed the thick stack of clan rules beyond recognition, he couldn't help but feel a deep sense of sympathy for the Snow Fox tribe. The Snow Fox tribe gave the Mei their tribe rules. They were written on paper and were densely packed. The rules were almost half a meter thick, almost drowning the mimicked Mei. However, after a few days of hard work, the thick rules were less than 2 centimeters thick. The Mei had abandoned the rest. Even the clan rules on the surviving pieces of paper had been changed a lot. It could be said that after the Mice Reformation, the Snow Fox tribe's rules had long since disappeared. He really wanted to know what kind of expressions the 2 old foxes and the elders of the Snow Fox tribe would have when they saw the reformed rules. He was looking forward to it. Just as Jiang Ning was busy fantasizing, Mei, who was busy working on the table, suddenly stretched her back. Then, she jumped into Lung Ruoxu's arms happily and said with a proud expression, "Master, the clan rules have been changed. So fast." Lung Ruoxu appraised as she stroked Mei Zuyin's snow-white fur. When Jiang Ning heard this, he was speechless. This was fast. This was clearly the speed of lightning. Okay? Moreover, this little fox's actions shouldn't be considered as changing the clan rules, right? It only took a glance at most of the contents on the papers before throwing them away. Therefore, he really had no idea how to evaluate Lung Ruoxue, who was a non-negotiable pet. Damn it, I've seen people who were good to their beastie, but I've never seen someone who was so pampered to the point of lying through their teeth. Jiang Ning couldn't help but complain to himself. He had learned a lot today. However, no one cared about what he thought. "Master, can you help me take a look at the changes to the clan rules?" After acting coquettishly with her master, the charm said, as if presenting a treasure. "Let me see." Lung Ruoxue received the paper from Mei and scanned through it. Then, she nodded and said, "Not bad. Mei has a good leadership ability." Of course, Lung Ruoxue did not mention that Mei knew how to be a hands-off manager. Originally, the tribe rules had stipulated that there were many things that the tribe leader should be in charge of. However, now, the Mei had delegated those matters to the elders. If there were major matters that could not be decided, they would hold a meeting with the elders to discuss it. If the meeting could not be settled, they would go to the 2 ancestors of the Snow Fox tribe, Xueran and Xueqiao. In short, it had nothing to do with this. Lung Ruoxue believed that when Elder Xuemu, Elder Xueqiao, and Elder Xue who saw the new clan rules, they would be so angry that they would vomit blood. At this moment, Jiang Ning extended his hand in front of Lung Ruoxue and said, "Let me take a look." He had been looking forward to the new rules of the Snow Fox tribe for a long time, and he wanted to see it first. However, when he finished reading the new tribe rules of the Snow Fox tribe, his sympathy for the Snow Fox tribe deepened. There were a few drops of cold sweat on his forehead. He thought to himself, "This little fox is really too ruthless. It actually has nothing to do with the tribe rules." In this way, the king of Snow Fox would really become a hands-off boss. What do you think? My new clan rules are great, right? Seeing the change in Jiang Ning's expression, Mei said proudly, "Yes, very good." He didn't even know what to say. Following that, the Mei invited Lung Ruoxue and the others to accompany her to the meeting hall to announce the new clan rules to the elders. By the time they arrived at the meeting hall, the Snow Fox elders who had received the notice had already arrived. Thanks upon seeing the demon queen, the snow fox elders all stood up in excitement, especially the snow fox great elder. Tears welled up in his eyes, as if he had just seen his ancestor. Actually, the reason why the snow fox elders were so excited was because they did not expect the king to call for an elders meeting so soon. This was a huge surprise for them. What did this mean? It meant that the king had already gotten in a character and was now concerned about the snow fox tribe. Although they didn't know why the king had called for an elder meeting, the joy in their hearts was still very strong. Of course, this was all under the situation where they were still unclear of the mice goal. Otherwise, they would definitely not be happy. All of you sit. You don't have to be so polite. May glanced at the elders present and said with a smile. When the snow fox elders heard this, they bowed to May before taking their seats. The May allowed Lung Ruashue to carry her to the main seat. The evildoer and the rest who were watching the show casually found an empty chair and sat down. Although the snow fox elders present were somewhat dissatisfied with the fact that outsiders were participating in their own elder council, they did not dare to show it. They had to try their best to ignore them. Otherwise, they would definitely make the king unhappy. This was something they did not want to see. He was even more afraid that the king would quit in a fit of anger. The main reason I've called you here today is to announce something. After the elders had all sat down, her beautiful purple eyes surveyed the elders present before she spoke. The moment they heard that there was an announcement, the snow fox elders immediately sat up straight and listened attentively. Seeing them like this, May Xen laughed evilly and said, "These few days, I've specially studied the rules of our snow fox tribe and discovered that there are many old rules in our tribe rules. Therefore, I've decided to reform the tribe rules." Upon hearing this, all the snow fox elders were stunned. The king convened an elders meeting for the first time just to reform the clan rules? How could this be? The tribe rules were set by the ancestors of the snow fox tribe. How could they be changed just like that? However, they did not dare to say this out loud. Otherwise, if they angered the king, no one would be able to bear the responsibility. At the thought of this, the snow fox elders could not help but look at the snow fox great elder. The great elder was the head of the elder council. His status was above theirs, so it was only right for him to take the lead. The first elder, who received the gazes of all the snow fox elders, felt hatred in his heart. However, as the first elder of the snow fox tribe, he really could not be a coward. Otherwise, where would his dignity be? The clan rules have been there for some years, and some of the old rules in the clan rules are indeed not suitable for the current snow fox tribe. I wonder how the king intends to reform the rules of our snow fox tribe. First Elder Snow Fox agreed on purpose before asking cautiously. I've already set up the new clan rules. In the future, you just have to follow what's written here. May said with a smile. After she finished speaking, she threw a few pieces of paper to the first elder. The first elder took the papers in his hand and looked at them. Instantly, his expression changed. "My king, the snow fox great elder's entire body began to tremble. It was unknown whether it was from anger or fear, but she could not say a complete sentence for a long time. Its heart was already filled with anger. Sob, the king was really bullying the fox. It actually handed all its work to the elders and appointed it to be responsible for the distribution. In other words, the current snow fox king had nothing to do. Although it did not have the status of a king, it held the real power of the snow fox tribe. Chapter 2366 New Rules vs. Honey Trap 3. Woo! What exactly is the king trying to do? How had it offended the king? Why did the king do this to it? After knowing that he held great power, the snow fox great elder was not only unhappy, but also felt as if his own father had died. His heart was unusually terrified. If this was known by the ancestor and he misunderstood that it was trying to bully the king, it would still have a good end. The snow fox great elder even wanted to die. However, at this moment, because it was too shocked, it could not say a word or do anything. The second elder beside him saw this and was confused. Seeing that the great elder seemed to have been provoked, he simply took the initiative to snatch the papers from the great elder's hands. With one look, the second elder fainted from fear. 1. Lung Ruashue counted silently. The consequences of the Snow Fox tribe's new rules were more serious than she had imagined. Second Elder. Seeing that the second elder had fainted, the elder beside it was extremely worried. "You bastard! What was going on?" The first elder was dumbfounded, and the second elder fainted. "What kind of new rule is this? How could it have such great power?" Out of curiosity, the elder closest to the second elder also took a few pieces of paper that the second elder had seen. With one look, his eyes rolled back and he fainted. 2. Following that, the elders began to pass the information around one by one. To Lung Ruoxu's surprise, all the elders who had seen it passed out as if they had taken over the task. Such a fact made Lung Ruoxu rather speechless. Wasn't this too much of an exaggeration? It's just a little change in the clan rules. Do you have to be like this? Lung Ruoxu couldn't understand and started to despise the tolerance of these elders. These elders? He really couldn't stay calm. Lung Ruoxu looked down on them. In fact, the reason why these elders fainted was partly because of the clan rules, but more so because they were too angry. After they read the clan rules, they realized that they couldn't oppose it and couldn't stop it. In a moment of anger, they became angry, and that was why they fainted. However, Lung Ruoxu did not understand them. She did not understand why they were afraid of the charm going on strike. She only felt that these old foxes were too useless. After waiting for a while, the old fox that had passed out slowly woke up after being fed a pill by Jiangning. Seeing the Mei sitting at the head of the table and looking at them with a smile, the Snow Fox elders wanted to faint. "Faint again," the demon said lightly. "If any of you faint, I won't be the Snow Fox King anymore." When the Snow Fox elders heard this, they could only suppress the urge to bang their heads against the wall and look at the Mei pitifully. "My king." The Snow Fox First Elder also returned to her senses and looked at the Mei with a face full of hidden bitterness. She tried to gain its sympathy, but the Mei ignored her. "This will be the Snow Fox tribe's new tribe rule in the future. The Elder Council will have full authority to handle the matters of our tribe. No matter how big or small the matter is, don't trouble me. I believe in your abilities, so you must not disappoint me," the Mei said very seriously. Upon hearing this, the Snow Fox Great Elder really wanted to cry. "A king, how can you be so unreasonable? If this gets out, those who know that you don't want to manage things will think that we can't tolerate you." The reputation of their Snow Fox tribe, was it going to be destroyed like this? The Snow Fox Great Elder's heart was bleeding. "All right, I've said what I wanted to say. The meeting is over." Seeing that the elders did not have any reaction, the Mei could only continue. With that, it pestered Lung Ruoxu and returned to their residence, leaving behind a group of dumbfounded white foxes. Not long after he returned to his residence, Shui Ran and Shui Qiao rushed over upon hearing the news. The Snow Fox Great Elder and Second Elder were also following them. Seeing the Mei Queen, Shui Ran said with an anxious expression, "Your Majesty, why didn't you discuss with us about such a major matter like changing the clan rules?" Hearing this, Mei played dumb and blinked her eyes. "Am I not the king of the Snow Fox tribe? Don't tell me I don't even have the right to change the rules of the clan? It's not that you didn't but you've changed so many clan rules that you should still tell us." Shui Ran's voice became softer and softer as she spoke. Moreover, she felt a little uneasy. She hoped that the little fellow would not misunderstand her earlier words. "Didn't I already tell you?" The Mei continued to play dumb. "My king, I mean before the change," Shui Mu helplessly reminded. "Thanks, oh. However, it's too late for you to say anything now. I've already made the changes and announced that the daily affairs of the Snow Fox tribe will be handled by the Elder Council." The Mei said very irresponsibly, "King, this won't do. You're the king of the Snow Fox tribe." When Shui Ran heard Mei's words, she felt her head throb. Why was this little fellow so difficult to deal with? Furthermore, as long as it thought about how this little fellow didn't want to care about the matters of the Snow Fox tribe, it would be so frustrated that it wanted to bang its head against the wall. Therefore, the revision of the tribe rules is my first order as the Snow Fox King. It will be carried out in the future. The Mei gave the final word. "My king." Shui Ran's face was bitter. It wanted to kneel down in front of this stubborn little fellow who didn't want to take care of things. King, you are the king of the snow foxes. The snow fox tribe will follow your lead. If you don't have any real power, people will look down on you. At this moment, the snow fox tribe's grand elder was also trying to persuade him. Who said I don't have any real power? I'm just handing over the affairs of the snow fox tribe to you and giving you full authority to handle them. This is a show of trust in you, so don't disappoint me. May said calmly, My king, have you ever thought that if the council of elders has too much power, and if an elder becomes ambitious and wants to usurp the throne at that time? The snow fox first elder said again, deliberately leaving out only half a sentence. I see. May frowned and deliberately thought for a moment. Just when Shui ran, Shui Qiao, the great elder, and the second elder thought that their king would change his mind, the May continued, If there's really such an ambitious elder, what's the harm in giving up the throne to him? At this moment, Shui ran, and the other 3 white foxes were all deeply worried. It seemed like the king really didn't care about the throne. They had already said so much, but they still couldn't change the king's mind. What should they do? Sob. The 4 white foxes were so sad. They didn't know how to make the king change his mind. They really didn't want to be called the king of sky. However, this king who didn't want to improve and didn't want to make any progress would rather be a king in name than to manage things. The more the 4 foxes thought about it, the sadder they became. After a private discussion, Shuemei set her sights on Lung Ruoxue and wanted to ask her to help persuade the Mei. However, Lung Ruoxue told her that she would respect her beastie's choice. Seeing that Lung Ruoxue's plan did not work, the 4 white foxes could only leave resentfully. Before they left, the 4 foxes could not help but console themselves. A king in name was still a king. It was better than nothing. After returning, Shui Ran immediately summoned the elder who was in charge of choosing a partner for the king. After inquiring about the situation, she ordered him to speed up the selection process. The elder quickly agreed. 3 days later, 20 snow foxes with snow-white, glossy fur were brought to the Mei. Seeing this, Jiangning couldn't help but send a message to Lung Ruoxue. It seems that my worry was not without reason. Look, the beauty trap was activated. I just don't know if your charm can withstand such temptation, Sai. I'm a little worried. Just keep your heart in your stomach. The demon won't even look at these female beasts. Lung Ruoxue couldn't help but feel speechless after hearing Jiangning's words. After saying that, her eyes could not help but turn to the 20 female foxes in front of her. These female foxes did look good, but she didn't know why. But a few of their eyes revealed deep hostility towards her, which made her feel helpless. At this point, Lung Ruoxue smiled and glanced at Shui Ran. She deliberately said, Senior Shui Yuan, are these the maidservants you found for Mei? When they heard the word maidservant, several proud female foxes revealed displeasure in their eyes. It should be known that they were the best among the female foxes in terms of appearance, figure, strength, and background. How could they be maidservants? Even if they had to be the king's maidservants, they were not willing. After being brought here, they were very clear about their status. Hence, most of the female foxes were unhappy that Lung Ruoxue had made them her maidservants. However, before they came, the elders had already warned them repeatedly not to offend their king's master. Hence, they could only endure the anger in their hearts. They are the most beautiful female foxes of our snow fox tribe, not maidservants. Hearing Lung Ruoxue's words, Shui Ran explained awkwardly. Since they're not maidservants, why did Senior Shui Ran bring them here? Lung Ruoxue's beautiful face revealed a puzzled expression. Seeing this, Shui Ran felt even more embarrassed. Although it knew that this girl was most likely acting, it could not blame her. Just as Shui Ran was hesitating on what to say, a gentle voice sounded. Miss Lung, we are all candidate for the king's future wife. The one who spoke was one of the 20 female foxes. When Lung Ruoxue heard this, she lifted her beautiful eyes and looked at the female fox who had spoken. She smiled faintly. I see. Do you have a name? I'm Shui Mei. The female fox smiled. Arg, you're Shui Mei, the #1 beauty of the snow fox tribe? Without giving Lung Ruoxue a chance to speak, Jiang Ning immediately exclaimed in surprise. After he finished speaking, he even looked at Xue Mei up and down curiously. In the end, he came to an important conclusion: she was a fox. Chapter 2367 Master's Orders 1. When Xue Mei heard Jiang Ning's words and saw the joy on his face, she was extremely excited. She recognized this man. He was the deputy chairman of the Craftsmen's Guild and an important person that the Snow Fox tribe wanted to befriend. Now that she saw that this important person had heard of her name, she was instantly excited and said softly, "I didn't expect you to recognize me, Sir Jiangning. I'm deeply honored." When they heard her soft and gentle words, Lung Ruoxue and the rest were in a state of confusion. If these words were said by a human beauty, they could still treat it as a peach flower of Jiangning. However, these words came from the mouth of a huge snow fox that was more than 2 meters tall. Furthermore, it was so gentle. This was something that they could not accept. At the thought of this, Lung Ruoxue and the others couldn't help but look at Jiang Ning with ambiguous expressions. Their gazes were as if they were watching a good show, causing a man like Jiang Ning to feel embarrassed. However, Jiang Ning remained calm on the surface. He spoke the truth with a serious face. Actually, I don't know you. I've only heard of your name. A good child should not lie. Oh, I didn't expect to be so famous. Even Sir Jiang Ning has heard of my name." The female fox named Xue Mei had a faint blush on her furry face. Her eyes were shy, and she looked very charming and attractive. At first, Xue Mei was a little unhappy when she heard Jiang Ning's words. However, when she heard that Jiang Ning had heard of her name before, her mood improved again. She couldn't help but mutter to herself it knew that it had a reputation. At the side, Xue Mei was feeling pleased with herself. However, when Lung Ruoxue heard her words, she could not help but think to herself, so the number one beauty of the Snow Fox tribe is also an extremely narcissistic fellow. Even though there aren't many narcissistic beasts, it's not as if there aren't any. However, the narcissism of this one in front of me seems to be a little too high. When Jiang Ning heard this, he only frowned with a conflicted expression. Then, he looked at Xue Mei with a profound look and finally decided to tell the truth. "Aren't you the number one beauty of the Snow Fox tribe?" Of course he was famous. "However, I know your name not because of your reputation in the Snow Fox tribe, but because I heard an elder say that they had seen you take a bath with the previous Snow Fox king. So, I remember your name." After hearing what Jiang Ning said, Lung Ruoxue laughed in her heart. She didn't expect Jiang Ning to have such an infuriating moment. She didn't teach her this. When Jiang Ning first met her, she was already a black sesame rice ball. Therefore, she had nothing to do with Jiang Ning's behavior. After Lung Ruoxue was done laughing, the first thing she wanted to do was to clear herself of the blame for causing Jiang Ning to go astray. As for the number one beauty of the Snow Fox tribe, after hearing Jiang Ning's words, her face turned from red to green and then to black. If it wasn't for Jiang Ning's status and the fact that she had to show gentleness in front of the Mei, Lung Ruoxue believed that the number one beauty of the Snow Fox tribe would have jumped up and scratched her. Looking at Xue Mei's face that was darker than the bottom of a pot, her conflicted, embarrassed, and angry expression that she had no choice but to suppress, Lung Ruoxue felt a little sympathy for her. She wondered if this number one fox beauty would be furious if she kept it in. Just as she was thinking this, a loud plop sound rang out beside her ear. When everyone turned to look at the source of the sound, they saw that the Snow Fox tribe's number one beauty was already lying straight on the cold ground. He had definitely fainted from anger. She knew that if she didn't vent her anger and endured it, something would happen sooner or later. Now he saw it. After giving Xue Mei a look of sympathy, Lung Ruoxue turned to look at Jiang Ning. However, Jiang Ning put on an innocent expression and said, "This has nothing to do with me." With a wronged expression, sighing in her heart, Lung Ruoxue looked at Xue Ran and said, "Senior Xue Ran, it seems that the body of your Snow Fox tribe's beauty is not very good. How can such a weak constitution be worthy of my Mei?" Thanks this, Shui Ran was speechless. Wasn't this all because she was angered by you? Even if they were beasts, they still had a sense of shame. Okay? To become famous by being peeked at while taking a bath. This was definitely a scandal. It definitely was. This kind of fame, even a female beast wouldn't be able to stand it. Furthermore, the other party was the most proud and arrogant person in the Snow Fox tribe. However, it didn't expect Shui Mei to be so angry that she made it faint over such a trivial matter. AI, if it had known this would happen, it would never have agreed to include Shui Mei in the 20 female foxes. However, it seemed to be a little too late to think about this. She stole a glance at the Mei, who was uninterested and would rather chase her tail than look at these female foxes. Shui Ran's head ached even more. From the looks of her king, it seemed that he was not very satisfied with these beautiful, gentle, and charming female foxes. AI, or is this good? Could it be that there were so many outstanding female foxes in the Snow Fox tribe, but none of them could satisfy the king? Shui Ran really wanted to cry to the heavens. Aren't you too hard to serve? Just as Shui Ran was feeling all sorts of grief and resentment, another female fox spoke up. Miss Lung, all the female foxes of our Snow Fox race are very healthy. Not all female foxes have a weak body like Shui Mei. Is that so? Lung Ruoxua blinked her eyes and looked at the Snow Fox who spoke. This fox was slightly shorter than Shui Mei. Its eyes were blue and as beautiful and clear as the sea. Its temperament was also natural and unrestrained. It was undeniable that Lung Ruoxu's first impression of it was much better than Shui Mei's. At least in the eyes of this female fox, she could not see any ambition or schemes. There was only a clear conscience. Lung Ruoxu's interest was piqued. What's your name? Lung Ruoxu asked with a smile. Imshiwalin. The female fox answered very frankly. Lung Ruoxu nodded and looked at the other 19 female foxes. She then turned to Shui Ran and said, Senior Shui Ran, I really like this Shui Lin, so let her stay. You can take the rest back. Hearing this, Shui Ran was elated. She was really afraid that Lung Ruoxua would not even leave a single one behind. As long as one of them was willing to stay, it believed that with the charm of their Snow Fox tribe's beauties, the king would definitely fall in love with that little girl. Although it was a little regretful that Lung Ruoxua had only left behind one female fox, it immediately gave itself a strong mental comfort. There was a chance if she left one behind. Furthermore, this foxy was personally picked by Lung Ruoxua. It believed that its king, who would listen to its master, would definitely accept it. With that thought in mind, Shui Ran did not want to stay any longer to annoy others. She hurriedly brought the other 18 female snow foxes that were still alive and kicking, as well as the one that had fainted, and left Lung Ruoxua and the rest residents. Before it left, the ambiguous expression on its face made Lung Ruoxua want to use violence. After those extremely unwilling female foxes left, Lung Ruoxua immediately felt the peace in front of her, and her field of vision widened. However, she didn't ignore the unwillingness that flashed in the eyes of the female fox that she had left behind. Chapter 2368. Master's Orders 2. Hee. Looks like there's a hidden story. However, Lung Ruoxua didn't want to appear to be too nosy. After sizing up Shui Lin for a long time, Lung Ruoxua nodded in satisfaction and said, You look like a good match for Succubus. By the way, do you know how to cook? I will, Shui Lin said honestly. And he's someone who can enter the hall. Lung Ruoxua could not help but think to herself, Looks like the Snow Fox tribe has put in a lot of effort in order to keep Mei and increase her sense of belonging to the Snow Fox tribe. Do your parents have a position in the Snow Fox tribe? Lung Ruoxua asked again. My father is an elder of the Snow Fox tribe. Shui Lin answered all her questions. It seemed that his background was not bad. Lung Ruoxua facepalmed. She just didn't know what kind of background the other 19 female foxes had. After some thought, she continued to ask, Tell me about your flaws. Flaws? Shui Lin was stunned. The expression on her face was a little conflicted. Was this her way of exposing her shortcomings? After some careful thought, it said, I am very stubborn. Being stubborn is not a big problem. Are you willing to marry Mei? Lung Ruashua said with a smile, as if she was a big bad wolf trying to lure Little Red Riding Hood away. However, May, who was lying on her lap, almost exploded when she heard this. Sob, Master, I don't want to get married. The May was wailing in its heart. However, Lung Ruashua hugged it tightly and even covered its mouth with her hand, so it could not object even if it wanted to. How could it be so miserable? The May did not want to be forced by its master to marry a female fox that it did not like. More importantly, it had no intention of getting married at all. Master, Master, the May transmitted its voice to Lung Ruashua. However, Lung Ruashua did not bother with it. At this moment, the May heard the female fox named Shualin and nodded. I am willing. Ha! Is there a wedding? Before Lung Ruashua could say anything, Jiang Ning interjected with excitement. Hearing this, the May was filled with hatred. Happy event, my ass. You are the one who's going to have a wedding. Its master would not force it. It definitely wouldn't. The May was terrified and kept on transmitting her voice to Lung Ruashua. Master, don't marry me off. I want to stay by your side forever. Woo. May, you're a male. How can I marry you off? I'm going to get you a wife. Why are you crying? Hearing the voice transmission, Lung Ruashua broke out in cold sweat. Was the May scared silly? She couldn't even tell if she was married or not. Master, can I not have it? Seeing that Lung Ruashua had acknowledged it, the May hurriedly said, May, recently, everyone's mood has been very bad because of rime ice. I feel that there should be a happy event that will make it lively. So, you should sacrifice yourself. Be good. I'll give you some candy later. Lung Ruashua coaxed him gently, and the undeniable meaning behind her words was clear. After May heard this, she immediately became dejected. Sob, if she wanted to be lively, she could have used other methods. For example, if they were to find trouble with the white tiger race, why must they sacrifice it? Thanks, the May was very depressed. However, as a good beastie that listened to its master's decision was always right. If its master really wanted it to do that, it was afraid that it could only be driven away by the fox. It had no choice but to obey its master's orders. It was its master's contracted beast, so it couldn't escape even if it wanted to. This fact made May want to cry, but no tears came out. In the end, May very obediently choked and said, I'll listen to master. Woo, good girl. Lung Ruashua caressed my soft fur and said in satisfaction. After her private conversation with May, Lung Ruashua turned her gaze to Shualin and said, Little Shualin, since one of you is willing to marry and the other is willing to marry, I have decided to hold the wedding in 7 days. As for the preparations, let the elders' council handle it. In the future, you will be the queen of the Snow Fox tribe. Sob, I don't want to marry her. When May heard this, she thought to herself with tears streaming down her face. As for Shualin, her expression remained calm after hearing this. Then, she bowed to Lung Ruashua and left. After Shualin left, Lung Ruashua ordered someone to inform the Elder Council of Mei Qi's wedding in a few days. In an instant, the entire Snow Fox tribe was in full swing. The entire Snow Fox tribe was in a jubilant mood. However, many female foxes who once had beautiful dreams of becoming a queen could not be happy when they knew that their great and wise king was getting married. The status of Shualin's father, Elder Min, in the Snow Fox tribe had also risen. Originally, Elder Min's position among the Snow Fox tribe elders was neither high nor low. It was very awkward. However, after suddenly becoming the king's father-in-law, many Snow Foxes began to respect her. This also caused Elder Min's fame in the Snow Fox tribe to soar, even surpassing her baby daughter, who was about to get married. However, even though Elder Min looked impressive on the surface, she had a headache in private. This was because ever since its precious daughter was chosen by the king, she had been depressed all day long, causing it to be on edge. It couldn't help but be afraid. This was because it knew that its daughter's heart belonged to someone else. However, for the sake of the Snow Fox tribe and its status in the Snow Fox tribe, it had no choice but to lock its daughter up. Otherwise, if this daughter of its really caused any trouble, it would be a sinner of the Snow Fox tribe. Why did it think that it was the sinner of the Snow Fox tribe? This was because the two ancestors had said that it was all up to his daughter to make the king feel a sense of belonging to the Snow Fox tribe. With the words of the old ancestor, it naturally regarded its daughter's marriage as more important than its own life. Moreover, as long as its daughter was not really married, it would not be able to rest at ease. As usual, after entering her daughter's room, Elder Min glanced at her baby daughter who didn't say a word and reminded her, "You agreed to this marriage yourself. Don't try to cause any trouble at the last minute. Otherwise, you will be a sinner of the Snow Fox tribe." I know. It would not run away from the wedding because the two ancestors had reminded it how important this marriage was. In fact, it did not think that it had that kind of charm at all, because from the king's appearance, it did not seem to have much interest in it. "It's good that you know." Elder Min nodded. In fact, it would say this almost every day. If it didn't say it, it wouldn't feel at ease. At this moment, a guard came to pass on the king's order. Elder Min was excited when she heard that the king was going to meet Xuelin. This was the beginning of their relationship. Elder Min watched as Xuelin carefully dressed up, then personally sent Xuelin to the place where King had agreed. After personally handing her daughter to Wang, Elder Min tactfully left. After it left, the big and small foxes stared at each other. At this time, the place they were at was the most beautiful hillside of the Snow Fox tribe. This was also a place where young snow foxes often went for dates. At this time, there were no light bulbs here except for the two of them. Or rather, it could be said that the king was going on a date, so all the light bulbs were cleared. Xuelin's beautiful blue eyes drifted as she was immersed in her own thoughts. Chapter 2369, Master's Order 3. It was too familiar with this place. However, the person beside her was not the one she had fallen in love with. Thinking of this, Xuelin suddenly came back to her senses and remembered her current situation. How could it think of someone else when it was dating the king? This was blasphemy against the king. Xuelin felt very guilty. For the sake of the Snow Fox tribe, she had to make some sacrifices. This was because the purple-eyed snow fox was simply too important to the Snow Fox tribe. And the one in front of him was the only purple-eyed snow fox in the god world for hundreds of thousands of years. Looking at the mimic king, Xuelin was confused. For the snow foxes of the Snow Fox tribe, they prefer to live in their original form, and no one knew how to mimicry. Therefore, whenever it saw the small and exquisite king lying in its master's arms and acting coquettishly, it could not describe how it felt. It knew that the king was different from them. This difference was also what the two ancestors and the elders wanted to do their best to change, but it did not think that it had the ability to do so. Even though it knew this, it still could not refuse to carry out its mission. Moreover, its marriage with the king was personally agreed to by the king's master. It believed that even if the king was unwilling, he would probably be the same as it, unable to refuse. In fact, from a certain perspective, it felt that it was in the same situation as the king. Thinking of this, Xuelin couldn't help but feel a sense of sympathy for the king. "My king," Xuelin couldn't help but call out softly. "Do you know why I asked you out?" Mei lightly raised her eyes and asked. "Xuelin doesn't know," Xuelin said honestly. "I want you to reject the marriage and run away from it. In short, no matter what method you use or what reason you have, I don't want the wedding to be held as planned in 5 days. The Mei fiercely ordered, "Since the king doesn't want to marry me, why didn't you reject your own master?" Xuelin couldn't help but ask. She knew that the king wasn't interested in her, and now that she heard this, she was even more certain. She even felt relieved. "You bastard! If I could refuse, I would have long refused." The Mei growled in frustration. "King, I'm sorry, but I can't refuse this. If I refuse or run away from the marriage, my parents and relatives will definitely be implicated. I can't let them be unable to raise their heads in the Snow Fox tribe because of me," Xuelin said honestly. Most importantly, their family could not withstand the anger of the two ancestors. "What if I can guarantee that your family will not be implicated because of this?" the Mei asked. This, Xuelin was a little hesitant, but she could not fully believe the king's words. She knew that the king could abandon her, but she could not reject the king first. If that happened, It would be an act of insensibility. Even with the king's guarantee, her family would not be able to survive in the Snow Fox tribe. What this, that? Just tell me straight, do you agree? The May asked impatiently. It was really tiring to talk to these female beasts. I'm sorry, King. I can't agree to that. Shiwaling hesitated for a moment, but she still refused. You? Don't you regret this? The May was furious. After saying that, it teleported and disappeared. After they returned to their residence, the May went straight into her room without saying a word. She did not even stick to Long Ruoxue. What's wrong with this little guy? Jiang Ning asked curiously as he watched the strange-looking May. I didn't get any advantage. Azure covered his mouth and laughed. No wonder. Realization dawned on Jiang Ning's face. When Long Ruoxue heard these words, black lines appeared on her forehead. She thought to herself, can the two of you not speak so loudly when you're bad-mouthing others? Can't you see that May is in a bad mood? To think that they would discuss such a matter behind their backs. At this moment, Long Ruoxue felt that the two of them had gone too far. Following that, Long Ruoxue heard a loud bang. The room that the May was in collapsed before everyone's eyes. Charm! Long Ruoxue was shocked and quickly ran back to her room. At this moment, a dirty little beast pounced into Long Ruoxue's arms and buried its head, looking as if it had suffered a huge blow. Ugh! Seeing May in this state, Long Ruoxue truly felt that she had gone a little too far in forcing a marriage. However, she did it all for Mai's good. May would understand in the future. Long Ruoxue suppressed the guilt in her heart. She hugged May and comforted her for a while, then brought May to wash up. In the next few days, the May became quiet. No matter how much Long Ruoxue and the rest coaxed her, the May did not say a word. Long Ruoxue's heart ached when she saw how lonely it looked. The mice wedding had also arrived as scheduled under the care of the Snow Fox tribe elders. Thanks the day before the wedding, Long Ruoxue heard from the Snow Fox first elder that many Fox Kings had come to attend the mice wedding and get to know the new Snow Fox King. When she heard this, Long Ruoxue even specially asked if the other beast clans had come to attend the wedding. However, the Snow Fox first elder stammered and hesitated for a long time before telling her that he had only informed the Fox clan. When he said this, Long Ruoxue could not help but want to laugh when she saw the Snow Fox first elder's careful expression. Was this great Elder Snow Fox afraid that she would be angry? After all, only the Fox tribe knew of such a happy event, so they would feel a little regretful. However, the Snow Fox tribe was also clear about her impression in the hearts of the beast tribes, so they probably would not dare to publicize it. On the day of the wedding, May was taken away by Shui Ran and Shui Qiao. Before she left, the mice's resentful eyes made Long Ruoxue break out in cold sweat. She really wanted to say, charming, it's just a wedding, not a guillotine. You really don't have to make an expression like the Snow Fox tribe has been exterminated. However, after thinking about it, she held back. What about Jiangning? It's time to go to the wedding. Long Ruoxue looked at the time. Evil Demon, Uncle Long, and Song were all present, but Jiangning was not. I'm coming. Upon hearing Long Ruoxue's words, Jiangning hurriedly ran out of his room and replied. He then stood beside Long Ruoxue and the others with a face full of joy. Long Ruoxue was speechless as she looked at Jiangning, who was dressed in red and had a happy expression. You're going to be a groom? Long Ruoxue's forehead was full of black lines. I'm going to attend a wedding. Jiangning said in a daze. I really think that you should be the groom, because you're even more excited than that little May. Uncle Long teased. Hee, I haven't been to a wedding in a long time. Jiangning said, a little embarrassed. You're dressed so fashionably. Be careful of that little fellow May bearing a grudge. Uncle Long glanced at Jiangning and couldn't help but remind him. No way. It holds grudges? Jiangning was a little terrified. Let's do this. It's almost time, let's go. Long Ruoxue said as she looked at Jiangning. After that, the four people and one beast walked towards the wedding venue. Mai's wedding was treated as a grand event by the Snow Fox tribe. The scale was extremely large, and there were many guests who attended the wedding. Hence, the wedding venue was set in the most spacious courtyard. The originally simple courtyard was also decorated with many red colors. The courtyard was filled with fresh flowers. The road leading to the wedding center was also covered with a red carpet. Every snow fox had a smile on their faces because they knew very well that as long as the wedding was completed, the relationship between the king and the snow fox tribe would become even closer. The moment Lung Roashue and the rest arrived, they were immediately invited to their seats. The moment they took their seats, she could clearly feel a burning gaze fixed on her. She lifted her head and saw that the person who was staring at her was the clan leader of the White Fox clan. If Lung Roashue had not told her to keep their relationship a secret, the clan leader of the White Fox clan would have pounced on her. Seeing that the master that he had been thinking about day and night had finally seen him, the White Fox clan leader could not help but tear up in excitement. A black fox sitting beside him could not help but ask, "Old boy, what's wrong with you?" "I'm fine, St. God into my eyes," the White Fox clan leader said perfunctorily. One had to know that this was a snow mountain. Where would there be sand? However, the black fox beside it actually believed it and even said with a look of sympathy, "Do you need my help?" "No need," the White Fox clan leader said through gritted teeth. She looked down on the black fox's intelligence. However, if it was not so easy to deceive, it would not have made up an excuse. After thinking this way, it felt relieved. The black fox, who had no idea that it had been tricked, was still worried after hearing the White Fox clan leader's words. Just as it was about to say, "You don't have to be so polite with me," music started playing. Then, all the fox's eyes, including itself, were attracted to the center of the venue. The person presiding over the marriage was still the Snow Fox tribe's great elder. The Snow Fox great elder was deeply honored that he could host the king's wedding. A joyful smile was always on his face. "Welcome," the Snow Fox tribe's great elder announced. "Newcomers, please enter the arena." All the foxes turned their gazes to the entrance at the end of the red carpet. Two snow foxes, one big and one small, were already waiting there. However, none of the foxes had expected that the new king of the snow foxes would actually be in a mimicry state. All the foxes were stunned. What was the meaning of this? The foxes could not figure it out, no matter how much they thought about it. They looked at the May, then at the conflicted expression on the Snow Fox great elder's face. The gossiping genes in their hearts were overflowing. Upon seeing this, the Snow Fox grand elder felt a headache. What could they do to their willful king? The king refused to transform into his true form no matter what, nor did he allow Shualine to mimicry him. In order for the wedding to proceed smoothly, they could only let him do as he pleased. They knew very well that their king was not satisfied with this marriage. This was because the wedding was set by the king's master. When the male and female leads, who were both unwilling, but neither was willing to reject the marriage first, walked to the great elder of the Snow Fox family, the officiant. Ignoring each other, the great elder of the Snow Fox family looked at the two newlyweds and wanted to announce that they were already husband and wife. Chapter 2370, Once and for All One. However, it was just thinking about it. It really didn't dare to omit the wedding procedure, especially since the wedding procedure was requested by the king's master. If it really simplified it, the human girl would fight it to the death. In the words of that little human girl, it was her beastie's first marriage, so the wedding had to be the most perfect. Not only that, they could not use the traditional methods of their Snow Fox tribe, where they just had to pay their respects to their ancestors and have a meal. Instead, they had to go through many procedures before they were truly married. The moment first Elder Snow Fox thought of the complicated marriage procedure that Lung Ruashua had requested, it felt a pain in its ass. It had a bad premonition that something bad was about to happen. In short, it was very uneasy. Actually, the wedding ceremony that Lung Ruashua had given to the Snow Fox tribe was simplified from the wedding ceremony in her previous world. Although she had changed many things, she had added many more. Furthermore, as the host, she did not choose to sit in the position of the elders. Instead, she gave the two seats to Xuan Mu and Xue Qiao. When the two old foxes heard that their queen would treat them as her elders and bow to them, they were extremely excited. Ever since they found out about this news, their faces had never changed. The mice's unwillingness was naturally ignored by the two of them. The two old foxes thought so. Although their king's marriage was arranged by their master, they believed that feelings could be cultivated. As long as they lived with Xuelin for a long time, the two little fellows would definitely develop feelings for each other. Their king would also have a next generation. At that time, their king's sense of belonging to the Snow Fox tribe would definitely be stronger than it was now. As soon as they thought of that possibility, the smiles on the two old foxes' faces grew a lot more. At this moment, in order to avoid any more trouble, the two of them hurriedly gave the Snow Fox Great Elder a look, indicating that it should stop being in a daze and quickly start. Upon receiving the gaze of its ancestor, the Snow Fox Great Elder's heart trembled. It raised its head and puffed out its chest, beginning its great life as a master of ceremonies with a proud expression. It felt deeply honored to be able to host the king's wedding. With this thought in mind, First Elder Snow Fox's eyes became wet, and even his voice was slightly choked. Just as he emotionally finished reciting Lung Ruakshu's congratulatory speech, he looked at Kaiser and Xuelin very seriously and asked, "Your Majesty, are you willing to take Xuelin as your wife?" The maid blinked her eyes and asked with her eyes, "Can you say no?" "King, you can only say you're willing." The Snow Fox Great Elder replied with an innocent expression. The two of them had been communicating with their eyes for a long time, and the foxes who had been waiting to watch the ceremony had become a little anxious. Many of the foxes could not help but whisper in private. Although their voices were not loud, they still reached the ears of Shui Ran and Shui Qiao. The two old foxes weren't too happy, and they were even more resentful of how the Great Elder handled things. Why did it take so long to ask a question? They were quite dissatisfied. Shui Ran even coughed twice, indicating to the Snow Fox Great Elder to stop wasting time. When the Snow Fox Great Elder heard the old ancestor's warning, he felt so aggrieved that he wanted to vomit blood. Sob, he had finished asking his questions, but what could he do if the king refused to cooperate? Could it be blamed? "King, cooperate." The Snow Fox Great Elder pleaded with her eyes again. However, the maid did not even look at her. She only lowered her head and seemed to be thinking about something. After a long time, Mei Kai unwillingly closed his eyes and said in an unpleasant tone, "It's passable." "See, passable? What do you mean by passable?" Thanks, the Snow Fox Great Elder had thought that he would only hear willing or unwilling, but he had never expected that he would hear not bad. Was this willing? At this moment, the Great Elder knew that he was only willing to be the king because he had no time to waste. After spending a lot of effort, he finally managed to settle the king. He then turned to look at Xuelin and asked, "Xuelin, are you willing to marry the king?" "I am willing." Although Xuelin was stammering, she was more cooperative than king. The Snow Fox Great Elder finally heaved a sigh of relief after hearing this. Just as it was about to announce that the two foxes were already husband and wife, it suddenly remembered that there was still one more procedure that had not been completed. However, the program had nothing to do with the king and Xuelin. "Do you have any objections to this wedding?" "If there's no objection, I'm going to announce that they're husband and wife." Then, the Snow Fox Great Elder asked the foxes who were watching the ceremony. As soon as he said that, all the foxes were in an uproar. What was the meaning of this? You can still object? However, who would dare to object to the king's wedding? Wouldn't that be courting death? All the foxes were secretly lamenting and discussing in low voices. This was because today's wedding was simply too novel for them. They had never seen a wedding like this. In reality, the plan that Lung Ruashue had proposed was merely a simplified Western wedding. Furthermore, the highlight of her plan was the sentence that the Snow Fox Great Elder had just said. Initially, when the Snow Fox First Elder saw those words, she felt very uneasy. To the beast race, the partners of most beasts were free to fall in love. However, the beast race was a world where the strong were respected. When female beasts chose their other partner, they would usually choose a powerful male beast. However, not all female beasts like this. There would always be different female beasts that did not choose the strongest among the beasts, and once such a situation occurred, the consequences would often be very serious. Especially during the wedding, if they dared to ask such a question, their ending would definitely not be harmonious. A big fight was already a light punishment, but if the groom was beaten up, the happy occasion might turn into a funeral. Therefore, the Snow Fox Great Elder was really afraid. It was not afraid that the king would not be able to defeat the Snow Fox tribesmen, but it was afraid that the king would quit in a fit of anger. Moreover, the king did not really want this wedding. If someone really opposed it, wouldn't that be exactly what the king wanted? First Elder Snow Fox was not a fool. On the contrary, he was very intelligent. Hence, when Lung Ruashua told him about it, he had already thought of such a possibility. Hence, he did not dare to agree. It was a pity that it surrendered the moment Lung Ruashua tried to goad it. Just because Lung Ruashua said that May was not the new king of the Snow Fox tribe, there were still clansmen who dared to respond to its wedding. When the Snow Fox Great Elder heard these words, she thought that it made sense. She did not think that her clansmen would dare to be so bold. In the end, First Elder agreed to Lung Ruakshu's request after reporting to the two great ancestors. Now that First Elder Snow Fox had finally asked this question during the wedding, Lung Ruashua smiled in satisfaction. Seeing Shwe Heir's evil smile, the demon snorted coldly and said with a little dissatisfaction, "Shwe, we haven't even settled our own wedding yet. Instead, it's the succubus." The demon purposely did not finish his sentence. Then, he looked at Lung Ruashua with a face full of hidden bitterness, not even blinking his eyes. Chapter 2371. Once and for all, 2. Wedding? You still want to hold a wedding? You're an unregistered resident. Hearing this, Song Yun snorted, his face full of disdain. Illegal resident? Hells, explain clearly. How did I become an unregistered resident? Hearing this, the demon was furious. Moreover, what he was most angry about was Tsong saying that he was an unregistered resident. So what if he was an unregistered resident? Can't an illegal resident have a wedding? Stop quarreling. This is someone else's wedding, not a place for you to quarrel. Without waiting for Tsong's reply, Lung Ruakshu's face was filled with anger. Originally, she had a headache when she heard the demon's question, but after being interrupted by Cold One, she managed to get through it. However, now was not the time for these two guys to quarrel. The good show she had arranged was about to start. She couldn't let these two ruin it. Shwe, The two of them saw that Shwe, seemed to be a little angry and immediately wilted. They called out softly in unison, their faces full of grievances. Be good. Don't be noisy. Lung Ruashua touched Song and Demon as she coaxed him. When Azure and Demon saw how the two were being treated like dogs, they were both speechless. The two didn't have the mood to continue arguing and turned their heads away, ignoring each other. When Lung Ruashua saw their expressions, she laughed in her heart. These two fellows would quarrel the moment they met. At this critical moment, the two of them were of one mind, so she was really amazed by their special friendship. Perhaps the friendship between men was formed from fighting and quarreling. Just as she was thinking this, Lung Ruashua heard a roar, "I object." The moment these three words were spoken, all the snow foxes, including Shwe Ran, Shwe Xiao, and the Snow Fox Great Elder, were no longer able to remain calm. The Snow Fox Great Elder, who was the officiant of the wedding, was even more shocked and could not come back to his senses for a long time. There really was a fox who dared to object? For a moment, everyone's eyes were drawn to the opposing fox. This bold fox was also a snow fox. However, at this moment, its originally snow-white long fur was covered with dust. Some of its fur was stuck into locks, making it look travel-worn. Its bloodshot eyes, which were filled with hatred and anger, became warm and tender the moment it saw Xuelin. It walked step by step down the red carpet to the Mei and bowed to her. "Your Majesty, I am Xue Yin. I'm sorry, Xuelin is my woman. I cannot give her to you." "Brother Yin, don't talk nonsense. I only treat you as a brother." Hearing this, Shui Lin became anxious. She kept secretly giving Shui Yin a look, indicating that he should not speak nonsense. If the king was angry, the consequences would be unimaginable. However, Shui Yin turned a deaf ear to it. After giving Shui Lin a comforting look, he turned his gaze to the Mei and waited expectantly for the king's reply. When the Mei saw this scene, she was overjoyed. Hee, there's no need to get married now. It was really too happy and even had a good impression of Shui Yin. This guy was its savior. He definitely couldn't afford to be neglectful. After thinking for a moment, the Mei intentionally furrowed her brows and shot a glance at the dumbfounded Snow Fox Great Elder, asking, "First Elder, what do we do now?" The petrified Snow Fox First Elder had suffered too much of shock and had yet to recover from it. Naturally, he was unable to react to the mice words. Thanks, seeing that the white fox was still in a daze, the Mei raised her voice and roared, "Great Elder, arg, what's wrong?" The Snow Fox Great Elder suddenly reacted to this roar. Then cold sweat began to drip down its body. Woo, is the king asking me what to do? How'd it know? Such a situation had never happened before at the wedding of the Snow Fox tribe. However, what it did not expect was that someone would actually be so bold as to oppose the king's wedding. The Snow Fox Great Elder was furious. The consequences would be very serious. Immediately after, its sharp eyes shot daggers at Shui Yin as it coldly said, "Shui Yin, you're so bold to leave your post? Wasn't this kid supposed to be guarding the back mountain? Why did he suddenly return?" Great Elder Snow Fox had a headache. How did such a good marriage turn out like this? If this wedding was messed up, wouldn't the two ancestors eat it? Moreover, even though it knew that Shui Yin had come back to disrupt the wedding, it did not dare to talk about the wedding, so it could only say that it had left its post. However, after hearing the First Elder's words, Shui Yin remained calm and said with a smile, "I didn't leave my post, I just changed shifts." Its current job was to guard the safety of the back mountain. The work was very hard, but could change shifts. This was their duty as a member of the Snow Fox tribe. Therefore, it had never complained about its job. This was also the first time it had changed shifts with the tribesmen. Furthermore, it had to change shifts. If it did not come to stop this wedding, its sweetheart would belong to someone else. Change shifts? Who allowed you to change shifts? The Snow Fox First Elder said angrily. Changing shifts is allowed by the clan rules. As long as I find my clansmen, I don't need anyone's permission. Did Great Elder forget? Shui Yin blinked his eyes and said in a neither humble nor arrogant manner. The Snow Fox Great Elder choked and could not speak. When Mei saw this, she deliberately put on a straight face and said unhappily, "Great Elder, is it time to investigate who Shui Yin will switch shifts with? It's here to object to the wedding. Now, what do you think we should do? Can the wedding still go on?" "Your Majesty, this wedding must continue." When the Snow Fox Great Elder heard this, she immediately said with a bitter expression, "How do we continue? Some people are against the wedding." The Mei reminded, "We can't stop the wedding just because it's against us." After thinking for a moment, the Snow Fox First Elder hurriedly said, "Can't one person object? Then how many people do you want to object to?" The Mei was speechless. Why was this old man so stubborn? The wedding could not go on. Why did it still not want to let go? The Snow Fox Great Elder wanted to cry, but had no tears. He stammered and couldn't even say a complete sentence. Immediately after, he cast a pleading look at the two ashen-faced ancestors. However, Shui Mu and Shui Qiao's hearts were also in a mess at this time. How could they have any good ideas? Therefore, the two of them didn't say a word. Seeing this, the Snow Fox Great Elder was completely depressed. This was the rhythm of not helping. Great Elder Snow Fox really wanted to just faint. If he fainted, would he not have to care about these terrible things? However, what hurt the Great Elder the most was that King did not understand him and kept urging him to think of a way. If he had a good way, would he be so conflicted and in such a difficult position? All of a sudden, the Snow Fox First Elder had a flash of inspiration. He thought of Lung Ruoxue and immediately abandoned his status as the officiant of the wedding. He ran to Lung Ruoxue and pleaded, "Miss Lung, what should we do now?" Chapter 2372. Once and for all three, how would I know? Lung Ruoxue said irresponsibly. "Miss Lung, you can't do this. You were the one who asked me to say those words, sob." Great Elder Snow Fox was so anxious that tears welled up in its eyes. Right now, its tiny appearance was really as pitiful as it could be. However, the ones who are against it are the snow foxes of your snow fox tribe. Besides, I really didn't expect that there would be someone who dared to oppose my mice wedding. I've really opened my eyes today. Lung Ruoxue clicked her tongue in wonder. "Miss Lung, you can't be so irresponsible." Lung Ruoxue's words made the snow fox first elder feel like dying. "AI, all right, who asked me to be too soft-hearted? Leave this to me." Lung Ruoxue put on a helpless expression as she looked at the snow fox first elder, who was pretending to be pitiful. "Miss Lung, you're such a good person." Seeing that he had achieved his goal, the snow fox great elder's tears turned into a smile in satisfaction. At this moment, Lung Ruoxue stood up and walked to the mice side. She bent down and carried the Mei. She looked at Shui Lin, then at Shui Yin, and asked indifferently, "You guys are a couple?" "Yes." "No," Shui Lin and Shui Yin said at the same time, but their answers were completely different. Hearing these two answers, Lung Ruoxue couldn't help but smile. Her beautiful eyes sized up the two big white foxes and didn't speak for a long time. After a long while, when she saw Shui Lin and Shui Yin breaking out in cold sweat, Lung Ruoxue finally let them go out of kindness and said, "Since there are snow foxes who object to the wedding, our mice wedding cannot go on. So, let me ask you again, are you two a couple?" "No." "Yes." It was a different answer. "All right, since the two of you are not a couple, I can only regretfully announce that Shui Yin, who disrupted the wedding of the Snow Fox King, has offended his superior. Men, take him away to receive his punishment and expel him from the Snow Fox tribe." Lung Ruoxue said coldly. As soon as she finished speaking, two Snow Fox guards appeared. By the time the foxes present could react, Shui Yin had already been taken away. Not long after, Shui Yin's miserable cry entered the fox's ears. When Shui Lin heard this voice, tears streamed down her face. At this time, the bloodied and unconscious Shui Yin was carried in by the two snow fox guards. When Shui Lin saw this, she quickly rushed to Shui Yan's side and burst into tears. Brother Yin, it's all my fault. I'm sorry. Shui Lin said as she cried. Why are you crying? It did something wrong and caused the Snow Fox King to lose face. It should be punished. Otherwise, if everyone in the Snow Fox tribe does the same thing in the future, where will our mice dignity be? Lung Ruoxue reprimanded him with a cold expression. Originally, if you two were a couple, I was going to fulfill your wish. After all, a couple who doesn't fear hardship for love and bravely advances forward is worthy of forgiveness. I will also think that your love is great. However, you've already said that you're not a couple. As such, Shui Yan's actions can only be considered as causing trouble. It even dared to cause trouble at the king's wedding. Not killing it is already a light punishment. Lung Ruoxue continued. When Shui Lin heard Lung Ruoxue's words, regret welled up in her heart. So it was its hesitation that had harmed Brother Yin. At this moment, Shui Lin was filled with regret. Miss Lung, please expel me and Brother Yin from the Snow Fox tribe. I love it, and I want to be with it forever. After thinking it through, Shui Lin said without hesitation, Wretched girl, what nonsense are you spouting? Elder Min, who had long been stunned by these changes and had only just recovered slightly, heard her daughter's words and almost fainted from anger. Elder Min, if you want to teach your daughter a lesson, please go home first. Seeing that Elder Min had spoken out of turn, Lung Ruoxue shot a warning glance at her. With just one glance, Elder Min became obedient. Then, Lung Ruoxue smiled at Shui Lin and said, Shui Lin, if I remember correctly, you just said that you two are not a couple. I lied. Shui Lin looked at Shui Yin affectionately as she spoke the truth. Give me a reason. and maybe he'll agree to your request. Lung Ruoxue said calmly. I was afraid that Brother Yin would get into big trouble because of this. I thought that as long as I denied it, the wedding could continue. I didn't expect. Shuai Lin choked with sobs, her face full of regret. Thanks, so you don't want to marry Mei? Lung Ruoxue asked. I don't want to, but for the sake of the Snow Fox tribe, I have no choice but to do this. Shuai Lin had tears in her eyes. In fact, she wanted to say that the king did not want to marry her, but she did not dare to. Such a thing had happened at the wedding, and the king was the victim. If word got out, the king's reputation would be damaged. Therefore, she could only bear the responsibility and hope that the king would forgive them. For the sake of the Snow Fox tribe, Lung Ruoxue repeated Shuai Lin's words, but her beautiful eyes turned to Shui Ran and Shui Qiao. Her knowing gaze made the two old foxes' faces flush red. They opened their mouths as if to say something, but found that they could not say a word. The Mei had a wronged expression on her face, and the two of them felt even more embarrassed. Mei is already the king of the Snow Fox tribe. Hence, the Snow Fox tribe does not need to sacrifice your marriage to bind Mei. From now on, you are free. After a while, Lung Ruoxue spoke again. Thank you. Shuai was very grateful. If it understood correctly, the other party had agreed to let them go, right? It pondered to itself. At this moment, Lung Ruoxue continued, Senior Shui Yuan, Senior Shui Qiao, since today is a good day and the wedding venue has been set up, why don't we fulfill their wishes and let them get married? Oh, okay. Shui Ran and Shui Qiao didn't dare to have any objections at this time. They were already very satisfied that this little human girl didn't get angry. However, Zuolin's eyes widened in surprise when she heard this. Did she hear it wrong? The king's master actually wanted it to marry Brother Yin now? This was too dramatic. Miss Lung, with Brother Yan's current state, am afraid he can't marry me immediately. Shuai Lin looked at the unconscious Shui Yin, her face full of heartache. Lung Ruoxue took out a pill and threw it to Shuai Lin. When Shuai Lin saw it, she quickly fed it to Shui Yin. In the blink of an eye, Shui Yin woke up. You two go and wash up. The wedding is about to begin. Lung Ruoxue laughed. Thank you, Miss Lung. Shui Lin and Shui Yin were extremely grateful for Lung Ruoxue's help. After bowing to her, they left the wedding venue temporarily. When Elder Min saw this scene, she was petrified. However, at this moment, Lung Ruoxue did not have the time to care about it. Instead, she coaxed the Mei with a gentle expression. Mei, there are plenty of other fish in the sea, so don't be sad anymore. Let me be magnanimous and help those two little foxes. The succubus raised its head and nodded with tears in its eyes. Then it quickly lowered its head again. The other foxes who were closer to it seemed to have heard a slight sobbing sound. However, the performance of their master and beast made the foxes present have a better impression of them. After all, most beasts also like to see the good thing of lovers getting married. Even though they had come to watch the Snow Fox King's wedding, there had been a small accident during the wedding. In the end, the Snow Fox King had generously allowed a pair of lovers to marry each other. Such an incident would be discussed by the foxes for a long time. Of course, there were a few who took pleasure in their misfortune. However, in general, the outcome was not bad, and this was exactly what Lung Ruoxue wanted to see. The wedding was over soon. Under the witness of the foxes, Shuai Lin and Shui Yin became a happy couple. The celebration banquet that was originally prepared for the Snow Fox King was now given to the two of them. Although the groom had changed, the foxes were still excited. However, Lung Ruoxue and the rest did not attend the final wedding banquet and had returned to their own residence early. The Mei, who had been acting like it was heartbroken all the way back to its residence, immediately went into its room. However, this time it was not angry. Instead, it was happy. After laughing enough in its room, it ran out of the room and pounced into Lung Ruoxue's arms. Seeing its reaction, Jiangning laughed and teased it. Mei, you're heartbroken, so you can't be too excited. All right, I was jilted. Upon hearing this, the Mei immediately put on a sorrowful expression and said to Lung Ruoxue in all seriousness, Master, I knew you were the best. Of course. You little fool. Do you really think he'll force you to get married? Lung Ruoshua laughed. The May actually took it seriously at the start. Hee hee. The May giggled in embarrassment. Little fox, you have to thank me. Do you understand? I was the one who dealt with Shui Yin. Song Qigong, who occupied Lung Ruoxu's right shoulder, said, Thank you, big brother Azure. The May said fawningly, There's no need to thank me. Just don't fight with me for the arms of girls in the future. Azure said very seriously. Hearing this, the May was depressed. It didn't want to agree to this request, but Song took it as a silent agreement and didn't pursue the matter. The two little fellows stopped for a while, but Jiangning looked at Lung Ruoxue with a face full of question marks. He held it in for a long time before he finally asked, Since you don't want to accept the beauty trap of the Snow Fox tribe, why don't you just reject it directly? Why do you have to put on such a show? Jiangning couldn't understand. Although he only realized that everything had been arranged by Shui, after the incident had ended, he felt that it was really unnecessary to do so. If he rejected them directly, those sly foxes wouldn't dare to have any objections. This is what I'm doing. I believe that after this incident, the Snow Fox tribe will not dare to easily plot against the succubus anymore. The seduction can also be stopped. Otherwise, they will do this today and that tomorrow. After a long time, I will also get tired of it. I might as well make them not dare to act recklessly again. Lung Ruoxue explained with a smile. Chapter 2373. Am a Snow Fox 1. Are you sure they'll stop? Hearing Lung Ruoxue's words, Jiangning blinked his eyes and asked with a pure expression. He did not believe that these greedy old foxes would stop. Moreover, his sixth sense told him that those old foxes would still cause trouble. However, when he saw Lung Ruoxue's confident look, he was too embarrassed to pour cold water on her. After Lung Ruoxue heard what Jiangning had to say, she smiled mysteriously and said, You just wait and see. With that, Lung Ruoxue hugged May and Song, then pulled the evildoer and left without taking a single cloud with her. Looking at Lung Ruoxue's back view, Jiangning couldn't help but blink his eyes. He then looked at Uncle Long. However, Uncle Long only patted Jiangning's shoulder and left. Did she leave him behind again? Jiangning was dumbfounded. How could these guys be so calm? It was too unbelievable. Jiangning truly felt that Lung Ruoxue and the rest had let their guard down too early. He believed that the Snow Fox race would definitely come up with more tricks. However, since Lung Ruoxue and the rest did not take this matter seriously, he would just wait to watch a good show. With this thought in mind, Jiangning turned around and returned to his room calmly. The next day, Shui Ran and Shui Xiao hesitated for a long time, but in the end, they decided to come and see the king. When they saw the May Queen and her sorrowful face, the two white foxes instantly felt their hearts ache. However, they did not know how to comfort the May. Furthermore, Lung Ruoxue did not give them a pleasant expression. This fact made the two old foxes, who already had a headache, even more upset. Little girl, my king, about yesterday's matter, Shui Ran bit the bullet and spoke. However, she had only said a few words when she was interrupted by Lung Ruoxue with a wave of her hand. Senior Shui Yuan, yesterday's matter is already in the past. Don't mention it again. Lung Ruoxue looked at May worriedly before turning to Shui Ran. I've already ordered the Great Elder to expel Shui Yin and Shui Lin from the Snow Fox tribe. Shui Ran said, trying to please him. Why did you drive them out? Lung Ruoxue blinked her eyes in confusion when she heard this. Didn't you say so? Shui Ran was stunned for a moment before saying. That's what she said before. Didn't Shuilin clarify it later? Since the two foxes were in love, it could not be considered as Shui Yin causing trouble. Therefore, there was no reason to chase them out. Moreover, we have to follow the wedding procedures. Since there are people who oppose it, in order for the lovers to finally get married, my May voluntarily withdrew and fulfilled their wishes. Isn't this a happy ending for everyone? Lung Ruoxue replied matter-of-factly. Her words caused Shui Ran to feel a deep sense of suffocation in her chest. However, Shui Ran couldn't tell what was wrong. After all this time, She wasn't angry at Shui Yan's actions. Then why did it play the bad guy in order to please them? Thanks, Sob. Shui Ran wanted to cry, but had no tears. Elder Shui Mu, I've already said this earlier, don't bring up this matter again. You should also stop thinking about finding a partner for my Mei. The marriage of my family's beastie should be decided by them. As its master, I have to be democratic too, right? Arranged marriages are no longer popular, so your Snow Fox tribe must keep up with the times. Lung Roashua said with a heavy heart. In addition, although my Mei lost face yesterday, we were able to help a pair of lovers. In general, it is still worth celebrating. So, elders of your Snow Fox tribe, don't think about making things difficult for that young couple. If I find out, I will be angry. Lung Ruoxue continued to warn. Shui Ran was stunned as she listened to Lung Ruoxue's long speech. However, it also understood what Lung Ruoxue meant. This little girl was clearly telling it not to be so meddlesome in the future. In fact, Shui Ran was also very angry about yesterday's incident. It did not expect that after its repeated warnings, there would still be a snow fox that dared to cause trouble. However, the snow fox that caused trouble was for love, and it was even allowed to do so. Therefore, it was still not clear what the situation was. Say that they did the right thing? The king had indeed lost face. Say that they did something wrong? However, she had also helped a pair of lovers. At this moment, Shui Ran was in a daze and couldn't think straight. However, the only thing she knew was that the king's marriage had indeed been called off. It would be terrible in the future. The honey trap would definitely not work, and it had no confidence in anything else. What a pitiful old fox. Just like that, she was confused by Lung Ruoxue. From time to time, she would even blame herself, feeling that she had not seen through people and had caused the king to lose face. Yes, although the wedding yesterday was not a waste, it did not belong to the king. After yesterday's incident, the news of the king being robbed of her love had spread throughout the Fox clan. Although it was very clear that the king's wedding was arranged and there was no love at all, other people did not understand the situation and would not think so. It was impossible for the Snow Fox tribe to explain to each and every one of them. Therefore, their poor king became the poor fox that was abandoned at the wedding. Some sympathized with their king, while others gloated over his misfortune. In this regard, it was quite helpless. Now, it could only hope that the king's scandal would be slowly forgotten by the foxes. Thinking of this, Shui Ran suddenly said, "Little girl, they'll arrange a banquet tomorrow to let the king get to know the kings of the fox races again. What do you think? Is there a need for that?" Lung Ruoxue raised her brows and asked, "It's necessary. There were too many accidents yesterday, and we didn't have the chance to introduce the Fox Kings to each other. So, we have to find a chance to let them get to know each other again. You should know that the purple-eyed Snow Fox is not only the king of our Snow Fox race, but also the king of the entire fox race. So, it is very necessary for them to get to know each other. That's it." Shui Ran was afraid that Lung Ruoxue would not agree, so she quickly said, "Since that's the case, I'll listen to Senior Shui Ran." Lung Ruoxue said with a smile, Good. I'll order people to prepare it." Seeing Lung Ruoxue giving her so much face, Shui Ran's heart was filled with excitement. After saying that, it left excitedly. It was so excited that it felt like it was floating as it walked. "Master, I don't want to attend any banquet." After Shui Ran left, Mei spoke with a displeased expression. "Mei, after becoming the king of the Snow Fox tribe, you should at least get to know the other Fox Kings. This is also a good opportunity to make friends. Tomorrow, you should try to get all of them. This way, your master, I, will be able to save a lot of trouble." Lung Ruoxue laughed evilly. "All right then. For master's sake, they'll definitely work hard to beat them all up." Mei clenched her small fist and promised, I'm not asking you to fight tomorrow. However, if someone provokes you, don't be soft-hearted either. In any case, it's none of our business if they're injured or crippled." Lung Ruoxue said irresponsibly, not caring if she would lead her little beastie astray. Chapter 2374. I'm a Snow Fox, too. However, after hearing the words of the master and the beast, Jiang Ning broke out in a cold sweat. Why did he feel that there would be a bloody battle tomorrow? Should he watch the show, or should he hide? The few of them each had their own thoughts and plans in their hearts. As for the Snow Fox Tribe's Snow Fox Elders, after hearing their ancestors' instructions, they collectively got busy. This time, they would not allow anything to happen again. They had to make the king happy. The Snow Fox Elders made up their minds and prepared a banquet of a scale that even exceeded the mice wedding. The main reason why they were so generous was naturally to compensate their king for the failed wedding. Otherwise, they were really afraid that their king would be secretly laughed at by some despicable people. However, what they did not know was that the news of May being abandoned by someone had spread throughout the entire Beast clan in just one night. Among all the Snow Fox Elders, the one who wanted to make up for her mistake the most was Elder Min. Elder Min had been on tenterhooks for the entire night. Other than being scolded by the two ancestors, the king did not react at all. It did not cause any trouble for Elder Min either. However, the calmer it was, the more afraid it was. However, the more it wanted to perform well, the more mistakes it made. In the end, even the Snow Fox First Elder couldn't stand it anymore. After giving it a harsh scolding and temporarily dismissing it from its position as an elder, Elder Min finally stopped. Elder Min, who had been temporarily removed from her position as an elder, looked up at the sky and sighed with infinite sadness. Whoa! Then it left the busy banquet scene in endless loneliness, looking back with every step it took. That back view was extremely desolate. On the day that the banquet officially started, Lung Ruoxue and the rest arrived at the banquet venue accompanied by Shui Ran. They carried Mei and sat on the main seats. Before they could even warm their seats, a dissatisfied voice could be heard. "Old ancestor, how can you let a human sit on the main seat?" Upon hearing this, there was silence, especially the Snow Foxes of the Snow Fox Tribe. They couldn't help but widen their eyes and cold sweat trickled down their bodies. He was really bold. He actually dared to say such things about their king's master. Even they didn't dare to say such things. However, it was not a Snow Fox from the Snow Fox Tribe that said this. It was a leader of the Black Fox Tribe. The fox race in the Divine Realm was divided into Snow Fox, White Fox, Red Fox, Black Fox, and so on. These fox races were the largest fox races in the Divine Realm. The Snow Fox race that May was in could be said to be the main branch of the Snow Fox race. Basically, all the Snow Foxes looked up to this branch of Snow Fox as their leader. As for the Black Fox that had spoken, it was the chief of the main branch of the Divine Realm's Black Fox race. It was confident that its relationship with the two ancestors of the Snow Fox tribe was not ordinary. Therefore, others did not dare to say this, but it did. Furthermore, after it said this, it realized that the scene had immediately become silent. It was extremely proud. How is it? It's the bravest, isn't it? Oomph. So what if it was a purple-eyed snow fox? He was just a little kid, and it was not willing to listen to the command of a yellow-mouthed child. Furthermore, it was a purple-eyed snow fox that had acknowledged a human as its master. How could such a purple-eyed snow fox be qualified to become the king of the fox race? A certain Black Fox clan leader was filled with anger and jealousy. Originally, before they came here, they did not know that the new Snow Fox King was taken. However, yesterday's wedding had already exposed everything. So, when they found out about this news, one could imagine the shock in their hearts. If the Snow Fox Elder had not suppressed some of the Fox Kings who were ready to make a move, they might have questioned him back then. However, it was not too late now. Therefore, the banquet this time was regarded as a Hongmin banquet. It was precisely because of this that the moment Lung Ruoxue sat down, it gave her a show of strength and was pleased with itself. However, what it didn't know was that when Shui Ran heard this, her head began to throb. He couldn't help but curse in his heart. This is our Snow Fox tribe's business. What does it have to do with you? Who asked you to be a busybody? Thanks, Shui Ran was afraid that Lung Ruoxue would get angry if she heard this, so she sneaked a glance at her. Seeing that Lung Ruoxue's expression was normal, she was relieved. Just as she was about to open her mouth to reprimand this ignorant fellow, she heard Lung Ruoxue speak before she could. May I know who you are? Lung Ruashua looked curiously at the Black Fox who had accused her and asked indifferently. "In the leader of the Black Fox tribe. You can call me the Black Fox King." The giant Black Fox said proudly. "I've never heard of it." Lung Ruakshu's face was filled with confusion. "I'm so famous, and you've never heard of me?" The moment he heard Lung Ruakshu's words, the Black Fox clan leader was enraged. Hells, this human really had not seen the world. He was the dignified Black Fox tribe leader. What a famous big shot in the immortal realm. However, this human actually told her that she had never heard of it. She could tolerate it, but she could not. At this moment, the furious clan leader of the Black Fox clan had long forgotten his original intention of questioning Lung Ruashua. He was completely engrossed in the fact that Lung Ruashua did not know his name. It deeply felt that this was more important than anything else. "You're so famous that even the Divine Master knows about you." At this moment, Lung Ruashua blinked her beautiful eyes and asked with an innocent look. I didn't tea." The Black Fox tribe leader replied honestly. "But I'm so famous that even the Divine Master knows me," Lung Ruashua said self-deprecatingly. Hearing her words, Shui Ran couldn't help but cover her face. They had been hiding Lung Ruakshu's identity all this time. Could it be that they were about to expose her? Shui Ran was a pear-shaped mountain, but it knew that it could not stop this girl. However, Snowbridge still wanted to try. Before the Black Fox tribe leader could react, Snowbridge quickly tried to smooth things over. "The banquet is about to start. Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's get ready to eat." "No, let's be clear. How did you become famous?" The Black Fox clan leader did not give him any face at all. His face was filled with anger. He had truly been provoked by Lung Ruashua to the point of losing his mind. Otherwise, he would not have dared to speak to Shui Qiao in such a manner. Its words also angered Shui Qiao to death. Just as Shui Qiao was about to reprimand it, Lung Ruakshu's voice rang in his ears. "Do you know who I am? Who are you? Aren't you the master of the new king of the Snow Fox tribe? You think I don't know?" The Black Fox tribe leader said with a look of disdain. He was not a fool. He had already figured out everything about this woman yesterday. "May, tell who I am." When Lung Ruashua heard this, she didn't even look at the huge Black Fox. Instead, she smiled at the succubus. "My master is Lung Ruashua," the May said very obediently. Lung Ruashua, the clan leader of the Black Fox clan, who had been high-spirited and overbearing, stammered when he heard this. A flash of fear appeared in his eyes as he looked at Lung Ruashua. Lung Ruakshu's name was absolutely fearsome among the magical beasts. Even though the Black Fox clan leader did not think that this human woman had done anything great, it was undeniable that some of the more timid magical beasts were very afraid of her. However, this did not include the Black Fox tribe. The Black Fox clan leader consoled himself. Chapter 2375, Snow Fox 3. It would never admit that it was a little afraid when it first heard the name Lung Ruashua. After all, it was said that a supreme god from the White Tiger race, Dragon race, and Phoenix race had been injured by her. However, it seemed like this little human woman's abilities were not that great after all. It was probably the same as it, so after the initial fear, it wanted to be smug again. "Lung Ruashua, how dare you come to our White Fox clan? Aren't you afraid? Aren't you afraid?" The Black Fox clan leader thought for a while, but didn't know what to say. He stammered for a long time, but couldn't finish his sentence. In the end, it was Lung Ruashua who saw that it was taking too much effort to speak and kindly helped it say, "I'm not afraid of you guys surrounding me. Right? That's right. How dare you? Aren't you afraid that, well, surround and attack you?" The Black Fox clan leader slapped his thigh and shouted, "I'm really not afraid," Lung Ruashua said with a smile, her face carefree. The Black Fox clan leader was so angry that he gritted his teeth. "Oomph, what a big tone. Lung Ruashua, you're asking for it. Brothers, this woman is the common enemy of the beast race. Let's attack together and destroy her." The Black Fox tribe leader laughed coldly. Then he incited the other fox tribes present, including the Snow Fox tribe. When Xue Mu, Xue Qiao, and the elders of the Snow Fox tribe heard the Black Fox tribe leader's words, their hearts trembled. Some were angry, while others were frightened. However, Lung Ruoxue remained calm and composed, and her expression did not change. Seeing how calm she was, Xue Ran was relieved. Then, she shot a look at Xue Qiao and the other Snow Fox elders, telling them not to say anything and just cooperate with Lung Ruoxue. After receiving a warning from Xue Ran's gaze, the Snow Fox elders calmed down and prepared to watch the show. If Lung Ruoxue needed their help, they were ready to help her at any time. However, based on their understanding of Lung Ruoxue, she would not need them. However, when it was time for them to perform, they definitely could not let go of this opportunity. This was also an opportunity to please their king. They were not as muddle-headed as the Black Fox clan leader. After spending a short time with Lung Ruoxue, the Snow Fox elders were well aware of her position in the king's heart. At the same time, they were also clear of the importance of the purple-eyed Snow Fox to the Snow Fox clan and the entire Fox clan. Hence, they did not dare to offend Lung Ruoxue. However, wasn't it not fair to see the other Fox clans offend Lung Ruoxue and suffer her revenge? With this thought in mind, the Snow Fox elders began to feel conflicted again. However, in comparison, it seemed that Lung Ruoxue was more important. After coming to this conclusion, the balance in their hearts immediately tilted towards Lung Ruoxue's side. The other Fox tribe leaders and Fox kings were not as angry as the Black Fox tribe leader when they heard his righteous words. The few Fox tribe leaders who were close to the White Fox tribe leader were especially alarmed by the White Fox tribe leader. Therefore, they sat on their seats as steadily as Mount Tai, and their buttocks did not move from their seats. The Black Fox tribe leader struggled for a long time, but when he saw that no one responded to his words, he was instantly enraged. He bellowed in exasperation, You cowards! Now that Lung Ruoxue is right in front of you, you guys don't know how to seize the opportunity. You guys are really useless. Little Black, if you're so useful, why don't you go? The White Fox clan leader laughed evilly as she encouraged. Get lost. Don't call me Little Black. The Black Fox clan leader's hair stood on end at the mention of Blackie. She glared at the White Fox clan leader with fire spewing from her eyes. Her expression was extremely unfriendly. As for what Blackie said after that, it was not as powerful as these two words. Therefore, the Black Fox tribe leader did not hear it at all. He'll just call you that. What can you do to me? The White Fox clan leader said with a smile. Other foxes might be afraid of this fellow, but she was not. You bastard. I want to fight you. The Black Fox clan leader could not take the other party's provocation and roared irrationally. At this moment, he could no longer care about Lung Ruoxue. He only wanted to get back his face. Seeing how unprofessional it was, Lung Ruoxue was extremely displeased with this huge black fox. She immediately called out to stop it. Wait, you can't fight it now. Why? The clan leader of the Black Fox clan roared in anger. His eyes were spitting fire as he glared at Lung Ruoxue. You have to deal with me first. I'm an external threat, so let me handle it first. Lung Ruoxue replied matter-of-factly. The Black Fox tribe leader was depressed. This is a fight? Thanks, however, on second thought, it felt that Lung Ruoxue's words were right. To it, this woman was indeed much more important than that narcissistic stinky fox. However, these damn things were not willing to cooperate with it. The Black Fox tribe leader did not want to deal with this woman by himself because he was not confident. After all, according to the rumors, this woman was very powerful, especially since she had a purple-eyed snow fox by her side and was crowned as the king of the Snow Fox tribe. This fact was very unfavorable to him. After thinking about it, the Black Fox tribe leader decided to start with the Snow Fox tribe. After all, the Snow Fox tribe was the strongest and had the highest status among all the fox tribes. The Black Fox clan leader said with a pained expression, Senior Xue Yuan and Xue Qiao, you're the two most respected experts in our fox clan. How could you? How could you be together with a human like Lung Ruoxue? She's the common enemy of our beast clan. We should unite against a common enemy. So, please lead us and eliminate Lung Rua Shue. When Shui Ran and Shui Qiao heard this, they were speechless. In their hearts, they were cursing this stupid fox. Fuck, you're the one who wanted to find trouble with Lung Rua Shue, so why did you have to drag them down with you? With the Mei around, they could only befriend Lung Rua Shue and not offend her. Otherwise, if she were to leave with the Mei in a fit of anger, it would be too late for them to cry. It was a purple-eyed snow fox. What a rare and precious snow fox. This was the treasure of the entire fox race. The two old foxes could not wait to worship the succubus. How would they dare to cause trouble for the succubus master? Therefore, when they heard the Black Fox clan leader's words, although the two big foxes were very angry, they did not even bat an eyelid and calmly did what they had to do. However, the other snow fox elders were not as calm and composed as them. Although they kept consoling themselves, the little hearts of these elders kept trembling. Furthermore, they did not dare to let the banquet's dishes be served. Otherwise, if a fight really broke out later, it would be a waste. The snow fox elders were still rather thrifty. However, Lung Rua Shue did not want to just sit there. She glanced at First Elder Snow Fox and said with a calm expression, "First Elder, I'm hungry. Why hasn't the banquet started yet?" They'll get them to serve the food immediately." The Snow Fox First Elder's forehead was filled with black lines as she hurriedly said. However, it still couldn't help but feel disgusted in its heart. Look at them. They were about to fight, but they were still so calm about eating. It just didn't know if this meal would be good. What it couldn't understand was that the ancestor could have stopped this imminent battle. So why didn't he? In reality, it wasn't just the Snow Fox First Elder who couldn't understand. None of the Snow Fox elders present could understand. The reason why Shui Mu and Shui Qiao didn't stop the Black Fox clan leader's actions was because they wanted to give Lung Rua Shue a punching bag. The two of them still felt that they had let their king down for yesterday's incident. Hence, they had been thinking about how to let their king vent his anger. Now that the opportunity had presented itself, they naturally had to let Lung Rua Shue handle this matter. Hence, the two old foxes pretended to be deaf and dumb. At this time, the Black Fox tribe leader realized that his words had turned into wind by his ear again. He was still thinking about eating. The anger in his heart rose. Then, he couldn't bear it anymore and roared, You are all pigs? You're actually thinking about eating. Food is the most important thing to the people. If you don't eat, you'll get hungry. However, if you want to exercise before meals, I can help you." Lung Rua Shue laughed. With that, she moved the three small and exquisite little beasts, Baby, Kuan, and Ling out. The Black Fox tribe leader saw that there were two more foxes, and her eyes widened. She said in a daze, Black Fox? Where did you get this black fox from? Black your head. You're the Black Fox. Your whole family is a Black Fox. I'm a Snow Fox. See clearly." The judge was enraged by the Black Fox clan leader's words. As soon as it said this, the Black Fox tribe leader was dumbfounded. The Snow Foxes present also had a stunned expression on their faces. It was clearly a black fox, so why did it call itself a snow fox? They weren't colorblind. Could they not tell what color it was? However, Richard didn't give them the chance to be stunned for too long. It said to the Black Fox tribe leader fiercely, "Xiao He, I want to challenge you. I will destroy you in the name of justice." Hearing the Black Fox clan leader being called Little Black by his master's fox, the White Fox clan leader laughed so happily that he almost rolled on the ground. However, the Black Fox clan leader, who was in a petrified state, immediately sobered up after hearing those two words and roared back, "You bastard, don't call me Little Black." It didn't listen to the rest of the words either. "I'm already shouting, so what? Are you going to bite me?" Yao angrily said. Detestable. Provoked by the referee's provocation, the Black Fox tribe leader roared and pounced on the referee with bared fangs and brandished claws. However, the referee would not be passively beaten. With a swoosh, he also scuttled out. Then, two streams of light, one purple and one gold, shot out. In an instant, a huge black fox was entangled with the three small figures. A moment later, all the foxes present heard a painful cry from the four beasts in the middle of the chaotic battle. However, They did not know who was making the sound. Chapter 2376. The Wolf and the Wolf. 1. However, this sound was really too miserable. All the foxes present felt their blood run cold. Many timid foxes seemed to feel the same way and shivered. At this moment, the food and wine that the Snow Fox tribe had meticulously prepared were served one by one. However, none of the foxes were in the mood to eat. However, Lung Ruashue and the rest did not care so much. The few of them did not stand on ceremony, as they picked out the food that they liked and started to eat. They ate very happily. The White Fox tribe leader, who had been putting on an act along with the other foxes and putting on a shocked expression, saw this and began to eat without holding back. This banquet was even better than the banquet at the wedding yesterday. The Snow Fox tribe must have spent a lot of money on it. Therefore, it would be a waste not to eat it. It was important to know that this was all the master's money. As he thought about it and ate, he pulled the good food and wine from the other people's tables to his front. The White Fox clan leader did not know how to spell the word polite at all. He only felt that this was all his master's money, so he definitely could not let those who wanted to go against his master benefit. Therefore, the food and wine on the table of a certain Black Fox clan leader were basically confiscated and brought to his own table. Furthermore, the White Fox tribe leader had taken it for granted that the Snow Fox tribe's assets belonged to its master. Wasn't the king of the Snow Fox tribe its master's beastie? Since that was the case, everything in the Snow Fox tribe would naturally belong to their master. At this moment, it did not even consider the stance and thoughts of the Snow Foxes in the Snow Fox tribe. In fact, it even felt that everything in the entire Fox tribe would soon belong to its master. Hee. The more the White Fox clan leader thought about it, the happier she became. Who asked her to have the foresight to recognize these foxes as her master? Therefore, it was very sure that its position by its master's side was definitely higher than these stupid foxes. The White Fox clan leader couldn't help but chuckle at the thought of this. A giant black fox beside it couldn't help but ask worriedly, "Old Bai, are you stupid? You're the idiot. Old Hey, I'm telling you. This guy from the main branch of your Black Fox tribe will probably be in trouble. So, you must seize this opportunity, understand?" The White Fox clan leader pulled the giant black fox and whispered, "Yes." The black fox nodded and asked, "What chance?" You idiot. Of course, you have to seize the opportunity to rise to the top. In the future, you will be the great patriarch of the Black Fox race. Do you know that? The White Fox clan leader said with a look of disappointment. "Sure, don't talk nonsense. Be careful not to let the clan leader hear you, and he will find trouble with you." Old Hay broke out in a cold sweat at that, his heart thumping and his dark eyes darting left and right nervously, afraid that someone else would hear him. However, when the White Fox clan leader said this, she did not deliberately lower her voice. Therefore, the few Fox clan leaders and Fox kings who were closer to the two of them could hear it clearly. However, those cunning fellows all pretended that nothing had happened and also learned from the White Fox clan leader to eat quickly. They did not dare to look at the two of them at all. However, the ears of the few Fox clan leaders and Fox kings were perked up. They wanted to hear more gossip. "Coward, you have such a good opportunity, but you don't know how to grasp it. No wonder you've been suppressed by that guy for your whole life." When the White Fox clan leader heard Old Black's useless and cowardly words, the look of disappointment on his face grew even more intense. Then he took a few more bites of the bone in his claws. He thought that the bone was Old Black to vent his anger. This Black Fox, Old Black, was one of its few good friends. Their friendship could be traced back to when the two of them were still little babies. When they were young, the White Fox clan leader had already shown that it loved to look pretty and was vain. Therefore, there were very few foxes in the Fox clan who could play with it. Old Black, on the other hand, was simple, honest, and obedient, so the two foxes liked each other. The White Fox clan leader never denied that it treated Old Black differently because Old Black was obedient and had always stood up for Old Black when it was bullied by other foxes. Therefore, their relationship could only be described in one word, and that was iron. Thanks, it was even 1,000-year dark iron grade. Therefore, the White Fox tribe leader, who had already found a master for herself, naturally hoped that her good friend would follow in her footsteps and join the ranks of her master, Beastie. However, it didn't have the time to tell Blackie about its thoughts. It definitely wouldn't let go of such a good opportunity. But looking at Blackie's silly face, it was clear that he was not on the same channel as it. This fact also made it feel a little defeated. After thinking for a while, the White Fox Clan leader decided to move him with emotion and said, "Old Black, how have I treated you all this time? I have nothing to say about Old Bai." Blackie laughed. "Then how did your Jina chief treat you?" The White Fox Clan leader asked again. Old Black stammered when he mentioned a certain Black Fox tribe leader. "It's always bullying you, right?" The White Fox Clan leader said on its behalf. "Yes." Old Hay nodded. "And every time I help you bully it, I called you Old Black and deliberately called it Little Black. Every time, it would be half dead from anger, right?" The White Fox Clan leader said with reason. "That's right." Old Hay chuckled. "Then, will you listen to me?" The White Fox Clan leader asked again. This was its ultimate goal. "I'll listen." "Old Bai, what do you want me to do?" "I'll listen to everything you say." Old Hay said immediately. "That's good. I want you to take this opportunity to replace Xiao Hei's position and step on it, so that it will never be able to rise again." The White Fox Clan leader snorted viciously. That old man always laughed at it. This time, it would make sure that Old Thing would never be able to turn over a new leaf. This isn't very good. It's already pitiful enough that it's being bullied by humans. How can we add insult to injury? Old Hay couldn't help but say, "Yo." He already knew how to use idioms, but he still knew how to hit someone when they were down. "That's right. I'm just going to hit him when he's down." The White Fox Clan leader laughed evilly. Old Black's body was covered in cold sweat. He didn't expect Old White to be so honest, but how was he supposed to reply? Seeing this, the White Fox Clan leader patted Old Hay's shoulder and said, "Old Black, I treat you as a brother. That's why I'm telling you this. If it were someone else, I wouldn't care if they lived or died. So, think about it carefully. Now that the old man has started fighting on his own, but none of us helped, do you think you won't bear a grudge and find a way to take revenge? Especially you. I'm afraid you'll be the first one to bear the brunt of its revenge. Of course, that's if it's safe and sound. But I think it's probably going to die this time. Therefore, I think this is an opportunity for you. You must seize it. As long as you become the new chief of the Black Fox tribe's main branch, no fox will dare to bully you, right?" The White Fox Clan leader deliberately paused for a moment before continuing to bluff. Chapter 2377. The Wolf and the Wolf 2. The White Fox Clan leader's words were so sincere, and his expression said he'll do it for your own good, so Old Black didn't dare to reject it easily. However, the honest Old Black still felt that it wasn't good to add insult to injury like this. It was in a dilemma. The White Fox Clan leader could only sigh to herself when she saw this. This honest fellow was really a headache. At this moment, a few more tragic howls attracted the attention of all the foxes. Then they saw a tall, black giant fox fly through the air like a parabola, drawing a beautiful arc and crashing into the pillar of the banquet hall with a bang. The pillar wasn't very strong at first, but under its strong impact, it shook a few times before it stabilized. The foxes then saw that there were a few very obvious cracks on the pillar. "My pillar!" When the Snow Fox Great Elder saw this, she immediately let out a cry, and tears seemed to flash in her eyes. Hearing this, and seeing the pained expression on the Snow Fox Great Elder's face, all the foxes' foreheads were filled with black lines. That's not the main point right now, okay? Shouldn't everyone be concerned about the Black Fox tribe leader's situation? Why did Great Elder Snow Fox's heart ache for the pillar first? Most of the foxes present could not understand, and the Black Fox tribe leader's current appearance made their little hearts tremble again. Oh my God! Was that the Black Fox tribe leader they knew? At this time, the Black Fox tribe leader's originally beautiful, glossy black fur was no longer in good shape. The claw marks on his body had destroyed his fur. In addition, many parts of his fur had been bald. The Black Fox tribe leader's face was swollen like a pig's head, and it was almost impossible to tell that he was a fox. The Black Fox tribe leader, who seemed to be severely injured, had already passed out. The blood on his body seeped through the claw marks and onto the floor, quickly dyeing the floor around him red. In short, the Black Fox tribe leader's current appearance was not enough to be described with the word miserable. The foxes pitted the Black Fox tribe leader. However, when they saw the three little beasts with their sharp claws, they shuddered and did not dare to speak up for the Black Fox tribe leader. However, even if they did not speak, the three beasts did not plan to let them go. They flashed their sharp claws that were still dripping with blood and raised their chin proudly. Who else wants to be scratched? State your name. Get scratched? All the foxes were shocked. All right, the Black Fox clan leader was indeed scratched. However, they didn't want to be scratched like foxes. As soon as the judge said that, all the foxes could not help but lower their heads, not daring to look at the three fierce little beasts. Sob, why were those three little fellows so terrifying? It was still a group scratch. Wasn't this asking for the fox's life? Who could stand it? Thanks, seeing that they still didn't say anything, Yao was angry and shouted, "Does anyone still think I'm Black Fox?" All the foxes were perspiring profusely. They thought to themselves, "You're a black fox. If you're not a black fox, then are you really a snow fox?" Even a 3-year-old child wouldn't believe such a lie, let alone them. However, even if they did not believe it, they did not dare to say it out loud. Otherwise, they would end up like the Black Fox tribe leader. "You bunch of cowards, good-for-nothings, you don't even dare to speak, and you still dare to call yourself the fox race of the divine realm. Even I feel ashamed for you. You've lost all your face." Yao saw that no one replied, so he could only continue to curse. He couldn't help but complain in his heart. These guys are so cunning. Why didn't they fall for it? The referee was depressed, but the more he scolded, the more energetic he became. In the end, Lung Ruoxue couldn't bear to listen anymore and suggested, "Whoa, stop scolding and take a break. In my opinion, if you don't like anyone, you can just go up directly. There's no need to wait for them to make the first move." Its master's suggestion immediately turned its anger into joy. It obediently rubbed against Lung Ruoxue's leg and said happily, "Master is smart." Yao straightened his back and scanned the foxes with his deep eyes. The foxes were so scared that their hearts trembled. However, none of them dared to raise their heads, afraid that they would be picked. Yao chose round after round, but did not choose his next opponent. The hearts of the foxes also swayed with Yao's probing gaze, like a sail in the sea. Many of the foxes' fur was already wet with their cold sweat, and the evil Richard even specially picked one of the foxes and pointed at a certain fox that was shaking like a leaf in the wind. "It's you." The fox chosen by luck was also a black fox, and it was the subordinate of the previous Black Fox tribe leader. It followed the lead of the Black Fox tribe leader, who had been scratched beyond recognition. The reason why Richard had chosen it was that it knew its identity, because it had a spy to report to him. Needless to say, the so-called spy of the Holy See was naturally the White Fox clan leader. When they heard that another fox had been chosen, none of the foxes dared to raise their heads, because they were afraid that they would be chosen. They would rather lower their heads like ostriches than confirm who the unlucky fox was. When Yao saw this, he was furious. He gave Baby a look, and Baby immediately understood. Then it ran to the back of the unlucky black fox, stretched out its short legs, and gave a light kick. The unlucky fox, who had been silent with his head lowered, was kicked out. Seeing this, Shui Ran found it unbelievable. She couldn't understand how the short legs of the purple fox could kick the huge black fox. This had become a difficult mystery in its heart. As for the black fox that was kicked out, it had already rolled onto the ground without any preparation. When it raised its head, it was immediately surrounded by 3 cute little beasts. What are you guys doing?" The black fox, who had become meat on the anvil, was so scared that its voice trembled, and tears quickly welled up in its eyes. Its expression was one of fear, as if it was about to be raped. It wasn't that it was a coward, but the 3 of them were too powerful. What do you think?" Yao laughed evilly. After that, the 3 little beasts acted in unison. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. After a few hits, this unlucky fellow was already covered in wounds, and wails and cries of pain were constantly heard. At this time, the foxes who heard the commotion also dared to look up. However, the more they looked, the deeper the fear in their hearts became. In the end, it even formed a conditioned reflex. As long as one of the three huge eyes landed on them, they would immediately tremble in fear, and the timid ones would directly faint. During the banquet, Lung Ruoxue and the rest were eating extremely happily. The three little beasts, the Jiao, were also happily bullying the foxes. Under the three of them's tyrannical abuse, many foxes took the initiative to acknowledge the three of them as their bosses. If there was anyone who refused to comply, they would immediately be attacked by the three of them. In the end, the three of them had taken in many foxes as their little brothers. At the same time, the position of the king of the May was even more secure. Chapter 2378. The Wolf and the Wolf 3. Now, no fox dared to disobey the Snow Fox King's discipline. No fox dared to mention the fact that the May had a master. However, the May told them about the conflict between her master and the Beast clan and asked them to give her an answer within 3 days. She did not want these foxes to only listen to her and not take their master seriously. Such a thing was absolutely not allowed. The smarter foxes had already seen through the signs. In less than 3 days, they expressed to the May that their master was also their master. When a May heard this, she was naturally happy. She was especially friendly to the fox tribe leaders and fox kings who had taken the initiative to ask for a master. In fact, this was a decision that the foxes had no choice but to make. If they could, who would be willing to find a master for themselves? However, they could see through the Snow Fox tribe's attitude. Due to their relationship with the purple-eyed Snow Fox, they listened to the words of that human, Lung Ruoxue. Furthermore, the Snow Fox tribe had always been the leader of the Fox tribe. The Snow Fox tribe no longer treated Lung Ruoxue as an enemy. So why should they be as meddlesome as the Black Fox tribe leader and make things difficult for this human? One had to know that the Black Fox tribe leader was still unconscious. She was even locked up in jail by the Snow Fox tribe. The other foxes thought that the Snow Fox tribe was trying to please Lung Ruoxue. As such, many of the foxes who knew how to seek good fortune and seek bad luck naturally leaned towards Lung Ruoxue. However, they were also a little afraid of the Divine Lord's estate's revenge. However, if the Fox clan were to band together, the Divine Lord's estate would not attack them easily. After consoling themselves, the foxes were much calmer. Furthermore, ever since the Divine Master's estate had treated Lung Ruoxue as a great enemy, they had not done anything to her. She had even fought her way into the Fox clan. With this in mind, the foxes were even calmer. They did not reject the idea of having human master. However, the happiest of all the foxes was none other than the White Fox tribe leader. All this while, it could not brazenly stay by its beloved master's side. It was afraid that others would find out that it was Lung Ruoxue's beastie and attract the hostility of the Divine Master's residents and the Beast clan. However, it was no longer afraid now, because the Fox clan had almost been taken into its master's possession and had become its companions. What else was there to be afraid of? As such, Lung Ruoxue's thigh became the object that it had to hold on to tightly. As long as there was a chance, it would hold on to its master's thigh without letting go. There was even a blissful expression on its face. Even if it was beaten up by Tsang, it would not let go. After that, Old Black, who had also acknowledged Lung Ruoxue as his master, couldn't stand it anymore. He dragged it away with great difficulty, and Lung Ruoxue finally had some peace. After staying at the Snow Fox tribe for a few more days, Lung Ruoxue and the rest decided to leave. When Shui Ran and Shui Qiao heard this news, it was like a bolt of lightning had struck them, causing them to feel dizzy. The two white foxes were unable to come back to their senses for a long time. When they finally regained some of their senses, the two white foxes immediately hugged their heads and cried out, "Little girl, do we not treat you well? Why did you leave? Right now, all of us Snow Foxes are following your lead. How can you be so heartless as to leave us behind? We're so sad." The two foxes could not accept this fact. The two foxes had always been careful in their relationship with Lung Ruoxue, but they did not expect her to leave. If she left, would the king stay? The answer was no. Despite all their fears, the thing that they feared the most still came. He had arrived earlier than they had expected. Sob, if the king left, what would they do? At the thought of this, the two white foxes looked at Lung Ruoxue with resentment. However, Lung Ruoxue ignored their gazes and continued with what she was doing. Girl, what did we do wrong? As long as you tell us, we will definitely change. Okay? Seeing that Lung Ruoxue was not paying any attention to them, the two foxes' tones softened and their eyes became more pitiful. It's not that you didn't do a good job, but we should leave. We still have important things to do. Lung Ruoxue sighed helplessly. What is it? They'll do it for you. You guys just have to stay here. Shui Yuan quickly said, You can't help me with this. Lung Ruoxue held her forehead and said. Following that, she changed the topic and asked, By the way, how's the Black Fox tribe leader? It has already been locked up. Don't you already know? Shui Rand said in a silly manner. Thanks, is it awake? Lung Ruoxue said speechlessly. The Snow Fox tribe had locked the Black Fox tribe leader and the previous Snow Fox king together. No matter how she thought about it, she felt that this matter was a little unsafe. One must know that she was not so kind as to find a person to chat with for the previous Snow Fox king. Not yet, Schwerin said honestly. Who said it didn't wake up? That old fox woke up a long time ago, but he's just pretending to be unconscious. At this time, Azure interrupted. That's impossible, right? Schwerin blinked her eyes and asked in surprise. If you don't believe me, you can go to the prison now. Those two guys are discussing how to escape. Azure said with a smile. Everything in the Snow Fox tribe was within its control, so it had known about this matter a long time ago. However, because it had always treated the other as a toy, it did not expose them. However, now, Neo was obviously trying to use those two guys to change the topic, so it could only try its best to cooperate. When Shui Ran heard this, she immediately turned around and ran towards the prison cell. Lung Ruoxue and the rest followed after her to watch the show. When they arrived at the prison cell, Shui Ran was about to go in. However, she was stopped by Lung Ruoxue, who had sharp eyes and agile hands. Don't worry, let's go in invisible. Lung Ruoxue laughed evilly as she took Ling out of the bracelet. Shui Ran blinked and saw the little golden snake wagging its tail casually. Then she heard Lung Ruoxue say, You can go in now. It then stiffly followed behind Lung Ruoxue and the rest into the prison cell. He became invisible just like that. Shui Ran couldn't help but think as she walked. At the same time, two subtle sounds also entered its ears. You wanted to seek help from the White Tiger race. In a certain cell, the heavily wounded Black Fox asked with a surprised expression. Yes, I can only ask you for help. I won't be able to leave this place for the rest of my life. The former Snow Fox King said with a face full of hatred, But I'm not familiar with the White Tiger King. How could it possibly see me? The Black Fox clan leader was in a dilemma. Take my token and go. The White Tiger King will definitely meet you. The former Snow Fox King promised. Then, a small white token appeared in its big claw that was chained up. Take this. The White Tiger King will definitely meet you. The former White Tiger King said. Is that so? A gentle voice was heard. It was Lung Ruoxue. However, the former Snow Fox King did not see her and did not expect Lung Ruoxue to be the one speaking. Instead, he turned to the Black Fox clan leader with a look of hatred and said, You bastard! Can't you speak properly? Why are you so girly? I didn't say anything. The Black Fox tribe leader said with a trembling voice. Whoa, I've already recognized the owner of the voice. We're done for. What should it do now that it had been caught red-handed? At this moment, it was so regretful. Why did it have to mess around with this outdated Snow Fox King? Wasn't this courting death? Initially, after being beaten up and covered in wounds, it was already afraid of Lung Ruoxue and the others. Its thoughts of going against them had also diminished by quite a bit. However, it did not expect that it could not resist the temptation of the previous Snow Fox King. Just as it was about to join in its evil deeds, it was discovered by Lung Ruoxue. Now it was filled with regret. Although it used to have a good relationship with the previous Snow Fox King, that was only limited to the fact that the other party was the Snow Fox King. It had to flatter the other party. But now it really wanted to draw a clear line with the previous Snow Fox King so that it would not be implicated by this fellow. With this thought in mind, the Black Fox tribe leader did not even give the former Snow Fox King a chance to speak. He immediately burst into tears again, crying and shouting, "Woo! I was forced to. Please let me go. It forced me. I didn't want to." That the Black Fox tribe leader was referring to was naturally the previous Snow Fox King. Hearing its howl, the previous Snow Fox King immediately regained its senses and said angrily, "Fuck! Who forced you? You were the one who said that you hated Lung Ruashue and that purple-eyed Snow Fox. You asked me to help you take revenge. Now, you actually dared to pour dirty water on me. This is really preposterous." Looking at the clan leader's unpresentable and foolish expression, the former Snow Fox King could guess that someone had arrived. This person was most likely Lung Ruashue. Furthermore, even if it was not Lung Ruashue, it was most likely someone related to her. Otherwise, this sly fox would not be so frightened. But even if you're afraid, you can't frame it, right? The former Snow Fox King felt very wronged. At this time, it also experienced the feeling of being framed. Unfortunately, it was a little too late. When Lung Ruashue saw the two of them fighting each other, she didn't have any other thoughts. She simply said to Shui Ran, "Senior Shui Ran, your Snow Fox tribe should deal with these two unrepentant fellows as soon as possible. Otherwise, something bad will happen sooner or later." Chapter 2379. A Trip to the White Tiger Tribe. Don't do this to me. It'll be good and nothing will happen. I guarantee it with my fox character. Just as Lung Ruashue finished her sentence, and before Shui Ran could even reply, the Black Fox clan leader promised her with a look of urgency. However, Lung Ruashue scoffed at his words. "You have a fox lattice?" Lung Ruashue couldn't help but laugh as she asked. There was. It's very big. Absolute good credibility." The Black Fox tribe leader said shamelessly. Although his face was burning when he said this, he had to say it. He was about to lose his life, so what face did he care about? Unfortunately, after Lung Ruashue heard this, she laughed even more speechlessly. The former Snow Fox King could not stand this shameless Black Fox clan leader. Instead, it rebuked her loudly with a sense of justice. "Fuck! Do you have a fox character? You despicable villain, your fox's nest was eaten by a dog, and you still have a nerve to talk big here? I'm blushing on your behalf, you shameless dead thing. Everything was caused by you, and you still have the cheek to say that you didn't look for trouble. You're even more shameless than me. Who are you calling shameless? You sinner of the fox tribe. Do you think we don't know that you've killed all the purple-eyed snow foxes of the Snow Fox tribe? I don't understand how you are still alive after committing such a heinous crime. If it was up to me, I would have already cut you into 1,000 pieces." The Black Fox clan leader shouted back, unwilling to be outdone. When Lung Ruashue saw that these two foxes were acting like mad foxes, clamoring at each other again, she was truly speechless. These two were in such a sorry state. Was there a need to say such things about each other? The two of them were clearly jackals of the same lair, so no one should laugh at the other. However, Lung Ruashue wouldn't stop the two of them from fighting each other. She also wanted to let Shui Ran see if her soft-heartedness was worth it. Yes, the previous Snow Fox King had been stripped of its position and imprisoned for life, but its life was not in danger. The same was true for the Black Fox tribe leader. Of course, she did not mean that she had to kill these two guys. However, wasn't it too easy for them to be locked up like this? Lung Ruashue truly felt that they could be of even greater use. For example, they could be used as slaves. After all, the previous Snow Fox King was a reverent god. It was such a pity to lock up such a good resource. At the thought of this, Lung Ruakshu's beautiful eyes gently swept across the previous Snow Fox King. Instantly, the previous Snow Fox King, who was happily quarreling with the Black Fox tribe leader, immediately felt frightened. Its entire body felt cold. However, it did not dare to look at the reason. It kept feeling that there was a gaze with ill intentions lingering on its body. Sob. It was a little scared. However, the Black Fox tribe leader did not feel this. He was still shouting at the top of his voice, jumping up and down as he shouted at the former Snow Fox King. Seeing this, Shui-Ran's face turned darker and darker. Finally, she couldn't take it anymore and roared, "All of you, shut your mouths." Shui-Ran was furious and regretted locking them together. In fact, its original intention was to let the Black Fox tribe leader see the outcome of the previous Snow Fox King. It did not expect that it would create an advantage for these two unrepentant guys and make it lose face. It truly felt that it had no face to see the little girl. It was really too embarrassing. The two foxes who were quarreling immediately shut their mouths when they heard the roar. Their faces showed that they had been wronged. Thanks when Lung Ruashua saw the two of them. One of them could not help but laugh out loud. "Little girl, you're still laughing," Shui Yuan said with a bitter expression. Senior Shui-Ran, don't you think they are very interesting? They're obviously birds of the same feather, and they're on the same level, but they're acting so innocent in front of us. They think we don't know their background and are playing us for fools. Lung Ruashua laughed evilly. That's right. They're just toying with us. Shui-Ran's face turned cold as she angrily said, "I'm innocent, old forefather." The Black Fox tribe leader's face was full of grievance. However, the previous Snow Fox King had learned its lesson this time. It did not cry out in grievance. It only used its watery eyes to look at Lung Ruashua and the others pitifully. The former Snow Fox King was very clear that it had explained everything clearly. There was no way for it to cry out for injustice. Therefore, it could only pray that it could live a little longer. Maybe it would have a chance to escape and ascend to heaven. Therefore, it was very smart to not say a word. Of course, this was only because it thought it was smart. Lung Ruashua and the others did not care what it thought. In Lung Ruakshu's eyes, the former Snow Fox King was just cannon fodder that could be sacrificed at any time. However, cannon fodder was also very important at times. In just a few seconds, Lung Ruashua had already decided on where this big fox was going. Shui-Ran ignored the Black Fox clan leader's words and turned her attention to Lung Ruashua. She asked carefully, "Girl, how do you think we should deal with these two?" Senior Shui-Ran, they're from the Fox tribe, so I shouldn't be the one making the decision. Lung Ruashua pretended to be in a difficult position. "Little girl, our Fox clan doesn't treat you as an outsider." Hearing this, Shui-Ran quickly said. She couldn't help but think, "Bad girl, the Fox tribe is almost in your bag, yet you're still trying to argue with it. You're really too bad, too bad. What were you planning to do with them?" Lung Ruashua asked despite knowing the answer. "That, we intend to imprison them for life." The more Shui-Ran spoke, the softer her voice became. She knew that they were being too kind, but they could not bring themselves to harm their own kind. Therefore, they could only use this method. Who knew that Lung Ruashua would nod and say, "It's a pity to kill a godly, venerable, rank beastie. Yep, that's why we've been struggling. With its crimes, even 10,000 deaths wouldn't be too much. However, it's one of the few godly, venerable, rank beasts in the Snow Fox tribe, so we couldn't bear to kill it." Shui-Ran explained. It did not dare to tell the little brat about this, as it was afraid that the little brat would be displeased. However, in reality, even if it had not said anything, Lung Ruashua had already known about the Snow Fox tribe's thoughts. Who asked Shui-Ing to tip it off? I can understand. Lung Ruashua said magnanimously, not getting angry over such a small matter. "Little girl, you're really too understanding." Shui-Ran was instantly touched. Her eyes that were looking at Lung Ruashua were filled with tears. "Senior Shui-Ran, although I understand your thoughts, it is not a good idea to imprison the previous Snow Fox King for a lifetime. I think it should have a greater use." Lung Ruashua continued after patting Shui-Ran's shoulder to comfort her. Chapter 2380. A trip to the White Tiger Tribe, too. Arg. What's its use? Shui-Ran didn't understand. "Leave these two to me. I need two thugs." Lung Ruoshua said directly. Good, good. No problem. I'll leave these two to you. Shuiran said happily. As long as this little human girl didn't mention leaving, it would agree to any conditions. However, the moment the Black Fox clan leader heard that he was going to be handed over to Lung Ruoshua, he immediately howled, Ancestor, don't. How could you hand me over to a human? Wu, don't treat me like this. I'm so cute. Shut up. I don't want you. You're just a bonus to the previous Snow Fox King. Lung Ruoshua said with a look of disdain. The Black Fox tribe leader, who was howling with all his might, was extremely furious when he heard that he had become a burden. However, before he could object, Lung Ruoshua glared daggers at him, causing him to not dare to make sound. Just like that, the former Snow Fox King, with a blank face, and the equally frightened Black Fox tribe leader were brought out of the cell to see the light of day. On the way back to where Lung Ruoshua and the others were staying, many snow foxes came to watch. When they saw the detestable previous Snow Fox King, many snow foxes threw stones, weeds, and leaves at it angrily. Some of them were even mixed with the poop of some unknown beasts. Very quickly, the previous Snow Fox King had become extremely smelly. When Lung Ruoshua and the rest realized that something was amiss, they quickly distanced themselves from it. Even though the Black Fox clan leader wanted to distance himself from it, he was tied together with the previous Snow Fox King. The two brothers in the same boat could not leave each other. In the end, it was also innocently implicated. Of course, it was only innocent in its own opinion. Lung Ruoshua did not think that it was innocent at all. Before they entered the courtyard, Lung Ruoshua felt that the two foxes' smell was too strong. She immediately threw out two large water balls, smashing the two foxes into a mess. Who knew that there would still be a smell after the smash? Lung Ruoshua had no choice but to throw water balls at the two foxes one by one. She did not know how many water balls she had thrown, but she only stopped when the two foxes were finally clean. As for the two unlucky foxes, they had been extremely depressed along the way. Now that Lung Ruoshua had smashed them like this, by the time Lung Ruoshua had cleaned them up, the two foxes' eyes were already filled with stars. After dragging the 2 dazed foxes into the courtyard and tying them to a huge tree in the courtyard, Lung Ruoshua and the rest returned to their rooms. At the same time, they told Shuiran that they would be leaving the morning after tomorrow. Still want to leave? Woo, why is that? Shuiran still didn't understand. This fact made its entire heart clench together, and it was very painful. He quickly called for an elders' meeting and reported the situation. It was another bolt from the blue. The Snow Fox elders were all dumbfounded when they heard the news. The king was leaving? What about them? Old ancestor, does the king not want us anymore? First Elder Snow Fox endured the dull pain in his heart and asked with a trembling voice. When he asked this question, his voice was choked with sobs. Thanks, I don't know. It's that girl who wants to leave. From the looks of it, the king will also follow. Shuiran said, on the verge of tears. Why don't we think of a way to make Lung Ruoshua stay in the clan? The Snow Fox Great Elder asked. Do you have any good ideas? Hearing this, Shuiran immediately perked up. Not yet, but I think we should find out the reason why Lung Ruoshua is leaving first. Otherwise, we won't be able to find the right solution. The Snow Fox First Elder said in an unusually calm manner. Yeah, however, that girl said that she had something important to do and had to leave. She also said that we couldn't help her. What do you think it is? Shuiran could not help but ask. This? I really can't say. Why don't we ask her? If we can help, Lung Ruoshua will remember our favor. The Snow Fox Grand Elder said after some thought. That makes sense. After Shuiran heard this, she immediately stood up and was about to walk out to ask for more details. Otherwise, her little heart would be in a mess. She had only taken 2 steps when she stopped again. She hooked her claws at the Snow Fox Great Elder and said, First Elder, come with me. Yes. Great Elder Snow Fox stood up as well. The 2 foxes left the meeting hall without turning back, leaving behind a bunch of Snow Fox elders who looked at each other, not knowing what to do. Were they going to wait here, or should they end the meeting and leave? When the old ancestor left, there was no order so they didn't dare to move at all. However, Shui Ran wasn't aware of the conflict in their hearts. She brought the first elder and headed straight for Lung Ruoxu's residence. Seeing Shui Ran return, Lung Ruoxu's face was filled with helplessness. Even without Shui Ran's explanation, she knew what this old fox was talking about. Thus, without giving a chance to speak, Lung Ruoxu said directly, "Senior Shui Ran, you can't do my thing. Girl, what matter do you have that you have to leave for?" The king had just ascended the throne, and there were many things in the Snow Fox tribe that he needed to be familiar with. "Can't you guys stay for a few more days?" Shui Ran tried to negotiate. It didn't dare to say that it would let Lung Ruoxu and the others stay here for the rest of their lives. Otherwise, this little girl would definitely fall out with it. "We've been living here for a long time, but since you've asked, I'll tell you. I'm planning to visit the Dragon and Phoenix clans as well and take in their subsidiary clans. This matter, you can't do anything about it, right?" Lung Ruoxu said with a smile. Upon hearing these words, the foreheads of Shui Yuan and the Snow Fox Great Elder were already covered with cold sweat. The hearts of the two large foxes trembled at the same time. Was this a provocation? Wasn't smacking the White Tiger race's face enough? They didn't even want to let off the Dragon and Phoenix race. None of them had expected Lung Ruoxu to be so ambitious. No, that's not right. It couldn't be called ambition. It should be said that she was very bold. This was clearly to attract hatred. They knew that Lung Ruoxu had already taken in most of the beast clans that were affiliated with the White Tiger race. The only one that had not acknowledged her as their master was the Snow Fox race. However, the king of the Snow Fox race was Lung Ruoxu's beast. As such, it was no different from them acknowledging her as their master. The reason why the White Tiger race had been able to swallow their anger was largely because Lung Ruoxu had never really offended the Dragon and Phoenix clans. The Dragon and Phoenix clans had suffered losses because of Lung Ruoxu before, so they naturally wouldn't be willing to find trouble for no reason. As such, the White Tiger race naturally couldn't hold the fort by themselves. It was impossible for them not to swallow their anger. However, if Lung Ruoxu were to slap the faces of the Dragon clan and Phoenix clan, Shui Ran and Great Elder Snow Fox would not even dare to imagine what the outcome would be. Even if they thought about it, they would still find it terrifying. This time, the beast race would definitely be in chaos. Lung Ruoxu could be considered to have truly gone against the beast race. Although Lung Ruoxu had almost completely subdued the Fox clan, the most powerful beasts in the firmament were the four great beast kings. If the four of them were to join forces, even if the other beast clans joined forces, they would not be able to defeat them. Chapter 2381. A Trip to the White Tiger Tribe 3. After quickly figuring out the consequences, the two white foxes' faces showed worry. Shui Ran said anxiously, "We're indeed powerless in this matter. However, if you go, I'm afraid you'll really become enemies with the four king divine beasts. Girl, I'll tell you the truth today. The strength of the four great king divine beasts is no small matter. Even if all of us beasts were to join forces, we would still not be a match for those four families. So you'd better give up on this idea for the time being." The Snow Phoenix did not say these words to boost other people's morale or to diminish its own prestige. It was clear of its own capabilities. Even if the Snow Fox tribe had a purple-eyed snow fox at its peak, it would not be a match for the four families. After all, there was only one purple-eyed snow fox, while the other party had at least four king-level beasts of the same level. Of course, the king beast in its heart did not refer to ordinary dragons, phoenixes, white tigers, and so on, but the kings of these races. If the other party's ordinary clansmen were included, then it would be even less of a match. After all, the other party's overall strength was unparalleled. However, after Lung Ruoxu heard Shui Ran's words, she gave a faint smile and said, "I've already decided. Little girl, don't be so stubborn. Even if you want to slap the faces of the four king divine beasts, there's no rush. Moreover, it's best to wait for the king's strength to increase before looking for trouble with them. This way, we'll have a greater chance of success. What do you think?" Shui Ran persuaded. May is already a 9th-level sacred beast. She's very powerful, Lung Roashua said with a smile. That's not enough. At the very least, we have to wait until the king has the strength of a reverent god. Shui Ren emphasized. Do you mean that I have to wait for hundreds or thousands of years? Or even longer? Lung Roashua was a little speechless. She couldn't wait that long, and she didn't intend to wait that long. Girl, there's no other way. However, the purple-eyed snow fox is very talented. I believe that it won't take long for it to advance to the venerated emperor level. Therefore, you just need to wait for a while. Also, once the purple-eyed snow fox has the strength of a reverent god, it can also learn the secret technique of the purple-eyed race. At that time, our king will definitely have the strength to contend with the Dragon Emperor, Phoenix King, and the other 4 king divine beasts. Little girl, you have to believe me. The more Shui Ran spoke, the more excited she became. She had very high expectations for the purple-eyed snow fox. Therefore, as long as she thought of the little May having the opportunity to lead the snow fox tribe to the glory of their ancient times, her heart would be filled with excitement. Senior Shui Ran, I'm sorry. I can't wait that long. Furthermore, I believe that all experts are made through killing. Therefore, am willing to lead my beasties and carve out a path of blood in the divine realm. The 4 great king-level divine beasts will be my enemies sooner or later. Therefore, what I need to do now is to cut off their left and right arms and weaken their strength. If I really anger them, I can take the opportunity to train my beasties. Also, I know my limits, so you don't have to worry. Lung Ruoxue said nonchalantly. However, after hearing Lung Ruoxue's words, Shui Ran was even more worried. Practice? I can also find it. There's no need to specifically find trouble with the 4 king divine beasts, right? Even if it used its toes to think, it knew how those few clans would react after Lung Ruoxue caused trouble for them. At that time, the White Tiger race would be the first to not let Lung Ruoxue off. This would also help the White Tiger race, who hated Lung Ruoxue to the core but was unwilling to make a move. It was as if there was a kitten living in Shui Ran's heart, tickling it. Of course, it was more anxious because Lung Ruoxue was too stubborn. No matter how much it tried to persuade her, Lung Ruoxue refused to let go and was determined to go to those clans. The May was even more obedient to its master and did not even look at its eyes. In the end, the helpless Shui Ran could only bring the snow fox, first elder, and return without any success. A day later, it was the day Lung Ruoxue left. When she was about to leave, Lung Ruoxue did not see any snow foxes. She thought that Shui Ran and the other foxes had given up. However, the moment she stepped out of the courtyard, she saw Shui Ran and Shui Qiao leading the elders of the snow fox tribe with bitter looks on their faces. They stood in rows and stared unblinkingly at the group of people. Ugh, what was going on? Lung Ruoxue broke out in a cold sweat. Moreover, looking at the appearance of these foxes, they were also very haggard. Their originally white and beautiful fur was a little dirty. He really did not know what they did. Lung Ruoxue was very curious, and the Snow Fox elders were very worried. Finally, First Elder Snow Fox took the initiative to step forward and forced a smile. He looked at Lung Ruoxue and said, "Miss Lung, I will leave with you." What? Lung Ruoxue was confused. Little girl, our Snow Fox tribe has decided to move. First Elder will stay with you for now. Once we're done here, we'll go find you. Shui Ran explained. Thanks, Wai. If you're afraid that the White Tiger race will make life difficult for you, I can think of a way to help you deal with them. There's really no need for you to move. Lung Ruoxue was very honest. At the same time, she blamed herself for being too careless. How could she have forgotten about the White Tiger race? Although she had not truly taken in the Snow Fox tribe, the White Tiger tribe would definitely not think this way. Hence, it was highly possible that the White Tiger race would take advantage of their absence to cause trouble for the Snow Fox race. Thinking of this, Lung Ruoxue felt that she had an even greater responsibility to help the Snow Fox tribe settle these messy matters. After all, the Snow Fox tribe now belonged to May, which naturally belonged to her indirectly. She didn't want the White Tiger race to jump out and caused trouble for the Snow Fox tribe after she left. If that was the case, she felt that she should really make a trip to the White Tiger race. It has nothing to do with a White Tiger race. It's US who want to follow by the king's side. After hearing Lung Ruoxu's words, Shui Ran hurriedly replied. At the same time, her heart was filled with sweat. She didn't expect that this lass would still want to provoke the White Tiger race. This was really, in reality, although the White Tiger race was one of the reasons for their decision to move, it was just as the White Tiger had said. They wanted to be closer to their king. However, moving was a huge project, and it wasn't something that could be completed in a day or two. Therefore, in order to take care of their king's daily needs, they had discussed for a long time before deciding to let the great elder stay by their king's side to serve him. As for them, they would naturally make the best use of their time to go to their king's side. Will you be able to adapt after leaving the Longevity Mountain? Lung Ruoxu asked worriedly. These are snow foxes, and they love cold places. If they were to move to a warm place, they might not be able to adapt to the environment within a few days. No problem. We're not ordinary foxes, so there's no way we can't adapt to this. Shuemu immediately declared. Since that's the case, then quickly pack up. Pack up and go to the evil demon's land to find me. If I'm not there, you can find any beast clan there. Seeing that the Snow Fox tribe had already made up their minds, Lung Ruoxu naturally didn't decline. Furthermore, she truly felt that it wasn't suitable for these snow foxes to live in the same place as the White Tiger tribe. Wasn't this the same as giving her beasts to the White Tiger tribe as hostages? After thinking about this, Lung Ruoxu was even more determined to go for a walk at the White Tiger race. If that was the case, the White Tiger tribe would have no reason to find trouble with the Snow Fox tribe. Hee. After bidding farewell to Shui Ran and the other reluctant snow foxes, Lung Ruoxu and her group swaggered out of the Snow Fox tribe. As for the Snow Fox Great Elder, she had moved her into her house. However, the path they took was not down the mountain, but up the mountain. When the Snow Fox First Elder, who was staying in her house, saw this, she could not help but remind, Miss Lung, you've taken the wrong path. That's right. Lung Ruoxu replied innocently when she heard the voice. Wrong. You're really wrong. That's the path up the mountain. You should go in the opposite direction, down the mountain. The Snow Fox Great Elder said with a burning heart. It couldn't allow these humans to take the initiative to send themselves to the White Tiger race's territory. We're going up the mountain. Lung Ruoxu said calmly when she heard First Elder Snow Fox's anxiety. Great Elder Snow Fox was silent for a moment after hearing this. Then, after coming to his senses, he could not help but shout anxiously. What are you doing up the mountain? Don't go up the mountain. Quickly go back. What's wrong? There are tigers on the mountain? Lung Ruoxu deliberately asked in confusion. There really is a tiger. The naive First Elder Snow Fox did not notice the teasing in Lung Ruoxu's words. Instead, she replied in a serious tone. Then, we'll go to the Tiger Mountain, even though we know there's a tiger there. Lung Ruoxu couldn't help but laugh after she finished speaking. However, First Elder Snow Fox, who was in her room, was jumping up and down anxiously. When the old leopard, who had closed his eyes and pretended to be asleep, saw this, he patted the Snow Fox Great Elder's shoulder and consoled her. Little brother, calm down, this little girl knows what she's doing. With that, the old leopard cooperated and dragged the Snow Fox Great Elder away to bond with her, so that he would not cause any trouble for Lung Ruoxu. When the surroundings finally became quiet, Lung Ruoxu and the rest quickened their pace. At this moment, the White Tiger race, which had been jittery all this time, had also received the news that Lung Ruoxu had come up the mountain. In an instant, the entire White Tiger race was on high alert. The White Tiger King even called for an emergency elder meeting. However, this meeting was held a little late. Before they could come up with any ideas, a guard had already reported that Lung Ruoxu and the others had already arrived at the main entrance of the White Tiger race. The White Tiger King bit the bullet and unwillingly led the elders out to welcome them. Of course, they were not here to welcome Lung Ruoxu and the others, but to boost the White Tiger race's reputation. The moment it saw the smiling Lung Ruoxue, the White Tiger King's aura immediately rose. It squinted its eyes and shouted, "Lung Ruoxue, why have you all come to the White Tiger race?" You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.